All right, who's ready for the Dirt Life Show?
Yeah. What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Dirt Life Show. We have episode 26 for you guys tonight. We are so stoked, man. I remember the other day, Case, you said episode 19 because that's my number, and we're just cruising along here.
Yeah.
Seems like it's pretty good. I'm Georgie Hamill, and in studio, I got my good buddy Casey Peck. How's things going, man?
Good. Doing good. You?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm probably not as tired as you from doing that. What they call the bicycle race you did this weekend? It's a 24 hours of the old Pueblo.
Yeah. So on my way out of the closet, I realized I was that guy. Except for this is
the
2016 or 15 of the event. So yeah, the 24-hour.
So that means you've done it for 4 years.
We missed one in that time frame, but
dude, I definitely want to talk to you about
awesome.
it. So you're
it's
keeping
awesome.
it a secret from me because you want me to hear about it. I definitely want to talk to you about it. But let's thank you everybody for joining. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything that you guys have been doing. We've been getting so many messages on social media and texts and emails and all that stuff. It's really cool for you guys to show us how much you care about the show. This week we got some pictures of the winner. Razor Junkie on Instagram sent us some pictures of the Zollinger Racing radius rods that he got.
So he actually had a razor.
Dude, he's been doing up this razor that he's got, like, really sweet, too.
Awesome.
Like, he's got long travel on. Like, he's got everything. Like,
well, good thing you posted 1,000 times or whatever.
Yeah, he got it, man. He obeyed all the rules on the contest, though. He got it. So the Zollinger guys are really happy, too. They said that we should do a contest again soon.
Awesome.
And I think next week we're going to have one of your buddies, Steve Westfall, on the show. I want to bring in one of the Zollinger. It's like a Can-Am engine case cover. I forgot what it is, if it's a clutch cover case or whatever, but it's all machined out of 5-axis machine and stuff. And
nice.
I want to bring that in so that we could talk with Steve about some of that fun stuff.
Cool.
So I want to do another contest with those guys too, because their products are just so bitchin', man.
Super nice.
And that guy that won them was so stoked. So I'm really happy for him, though, because he's actually putting them to use. He's doing posts on social. He's paying us back, man.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked on that. So, yeah, like I said, thank you, everybody, for joining, looking at the show. We've been getting some pretty good numbers. I still want to make the show blow up and get a lot bigger. So let's keep sharing, keep telling all your buddies about it, and we'll make this show go even better, make our sponsors really happy. Speaking of our sponsors, we want to thank the guys over at Shock Therapy. Those guys do amazing work. One of our user or audience members, Alfonso Jimenez, he just got his Yamaha YXZ done by Shock Therapy, and I took it out to the dunes, and he sent me some videos on Instagram of him just popping some wheelies in his Yamaha. So I think he's got I think he's got a turbo kit and stuff, and that thing is sweet. He said that his ride is so plush now, and he posted about it, so that was really cool to see. He used the code DIRTLIFE when he talked to him, so he saved a bunch of money on it. So please call over there at Shock Therapy, use the code DIRTLIFE, say my name, say the Dirt Life's name, and get yourself a big old fat discount. They do a really good job. They also have other products too. They got hard parts, they got apparel, they got the whole nine. So give them a call, check out their website. Those guys are really good, man. They have a bunch of stuff. And thank you very much to the Zollinger Racing guys. Like I said before, those guys just make amazing products. We're gonna be doing some other stuff with those guys pretty quick here, and it's gonna be pretty cool to see all their new stuff. They manufacture all of their products in the United States in their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. So that's a huge deal, man. Like, just supporting the jobs of all the guys in the United States. It's really meaningful that they do that, and to have all that equipment just so close to us in Utah is pretty cool. So use the code DIRTLIFE over there and save yourself a bunch of money on some of those things. Go over to Razor Junkie's page and check out his whip and try to see if you can beat him with more Zollinger products. And thank you to the guys at Solder Weld. Lance was on the show last week. We got a new commercial for him today that we're going to unveil, so check out the commercials when we go to our commercial break. The guys at Solder Weld are doing a great job. They're blowing up, and they're just really good people. Like, I've mentioned it before on the show, like, and you've said the same thing, like with all of your dealings in the RC car industry and just everywhere. It's always best to have relationships with good people. So it means more than the products. It means more than the financial support. It means more than everything.
Agreed.
So I think it's so great to just have good people on board, and Lance and his whole team at Solderweld is just amazing guys. So thank you very much to those guys for supporting the show, and we will have some more fun stuff to do with them pretty soon. You start your Facebook watch party already?
I didn't. I got to figure it out. I need some.
It's pretty easy. You just find the Dirt Life Show live video, and then you just click Start Watch Party. So just like a sharing thing. So it's pretty cool.
So speaking of Lance real quick.
Yeah.
So I obviously participated a little bit, but I was, listening to the show, and I listened to it a couple more times on the way up to the 24, and Chris's story is amazing.
Dude.
But when they were talking about the solder weld stuff, in my brain it's always been, okay, cool, I'm in the dunes or a desert ride or whatever, but you could fix anything.
It doesn't matter what it is, yeah.
Maybe you're going across the country in your toter or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually put one we have a surprise for the Dirt Life in the next couple of weeks that we're going to unveil here, but I'm going to put one in one of our cars.
Nice.
So, and I mean street car. Like, so we were traveling down the street, down the highway or whatever. But I was thinking you could, because they're huge in the HVAC industry and plumbing and stuff. So you don't, so you can't just start a watch party right here?
I don't know, can you?
I'm not sure.
I'm a little.
Mine just pops up and just says start watch party. So maybe you got to go to the Dirt Life Show. But anyways, yeah. So they're huge in the HVAC industry, and all those guys use it because you can bond any type of pipe, right?
Right.
I was thinking, like, there's so many people that break turnbuckles in the RC car world.
Yeah,
you could just fix it. Like, as much as those titanium turnbuckles cost, and like the aluminum ones and stuff, like, you could just fix it,
right?
Because they have all kinds of different rods to bond that metal. So
maybe in the fifth scales.
You could even do it on those little ones, man. The stuff that he was showing me, he did like a little demo for me on a radiator for a YXZ that we had. You can fix anything with that stuff, man.
Nice.
It's pretty, and all you have to have is a little butane.
That's pretty
torch.
cool.
So thank you to the guys at Solderweld. Those guys are super cool. We are very, very glad that they are on board with us. Thanks, Lance. And that show was cool last week, man.
It was really good. I got a lot of my buddies that listen to. They're like, I mean, I guess if you haven't watched it, you need to go back and watch it. But I get the general consensus, the overview of it is this dude is so gnarly that he cut his leg off so he could be better.
Exactly.
Like it's just ridiculous.
It is pretty
so
ridiculous
amazing
to go through something like that, such a life-changing, dramatic mindset and experience to be able to do that. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, go check out the previous episode 25 of the Dirt Life Show, and that's with Chris Ridgway. He's a badass for sure. We want to have him on again.
Yeah,
so
we need to.
It would be pretty cool. He has so many more stories that he wasn't able to tell.
I think we just skimmed the top. I really do.
Dude, we really did. So, and it's really cool to hear all that stuff from him because it relates, to me a lot too. Anybody that raced motocross has had injuries. So,
right.
So thank you, everybody, like I said, for tuning in. You can always communicate with us on, as Casey tries to figure out his watch party, you can always communicate with us on Facebook. You can communicate to us. A lot more people have been joining us on Instagram. And so when you go to Instagram, it's at The Dirt Life Show, and you can hit us up, direct message us. I usually try to see if I can do it. We got a couple other people that are helping out with the with just, there you go, start right there. We got a couple other people that are helping out with it too, so if it's not me, you might have somebody else answer you back, but we love talking to you guys. We haven't missed a message yet, so hit us up, and we'll try to blow that bad boy up too. And you can always communicate with us through our website, thedirtlifeshow.com. We have a couple of the taco t-shirts left, but that's about it. And we're going to get some new merch pretty soon, next couple months here. So we'll have a merch party. That way you guys can buy some stuff. The hats just were like, the first run of hats that we produced, I didn't even get one.
Good.
So they just go way, way too quick.
They do, and so, I blew it. I missed out on these little ones.
Those little stickers, yeah. So we got some new little stickers made up. So those are pretty cool. Once we get some more hats, I think what we're going to probably try to do is, since the hats are what everybody wants, I think maybe what we'll do is we'll cut back. So like they're just going to be limited runs of them,
nice.
And then whoever gets to them first gets them. So. I think it's pretty cool, like how Red Bull and all those guys do it. I mean, Clearly we're not a Red Bull, but it's still fun to do it that way. So maybe we'll make some taco ones too. Like I said, thanks everybody for joining us. A couple things that I want to talk about tonight are like Supercross and stuff. But before we do that, I would like to let you guys know that we are going to have a kid named Chris Nunes on the show tonight. And he's really cool. I met him through one of our mutual friends that races Lucas Short Course, and he's been on the show before. His name's Brian Forrester. And Brian has a son, Tatum, that races, and just an all-around good family. So Brian and his wife, Joette, had referred me to talk to Chris and said, hey, he'd be a fantastic guest on your show. He's got a lot of similarities to you. He hasn't gotten hurt or anything because he's younger, but he started out racing dirt bikes. So he raced 60s and 80s, and he did really well at that. And he transitioned. I want to see why he transitioned over to off-road. I think it may be because it's a little safer. We'll ask him and see what he says. And now he's going actually into road racing. So he's going to start doing the Mazda Miata stuff.
Nice.
And
that's getting to be a huge following.
Dude, it really is.
Yeah.
And so last year's Lucas Oil Short Course Production 1000 champion, Robert Stout, which Paul Yaw also came on the show. He's the chief engineer for that team. He races Mazda Miatas, and he's a road course instructor.
Nice.
I don't know if he still works at Bondurant, but he does stuff for BMW, for a bunch of different people. So it really does, like, it transitions a lot. Like, a lot of it comes together. You know what I mean? Like, I guess if you're a wheelman, you're a wheelman kind of thing. Is that?
Yeah, you know what I think too is I've definitely seen it on the high end of RC stuff too.
Oh, really?
Is that the guys that grew up moto, they have an automatic eye for the lines.
Yeah.
And they progress. So, but then when you put that into actually any kind of racing, you just have that thought process already than just random kid number 9 who says, I'm going to race cars tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't mean they can't get there, but it seems like it's already programmed in the brain for the moto guys. They already know it. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I mentioned this on the last episode when we were talking with Chris Ridgway, or if we were just talking in private or whatever, but me coming from moto, and I think you would probably be the same way, like maybe you can rate it a little bit in RC, but when I was sitting in a short course car and racing like Lucas Off-Road, I always felt like everything was in slow motion. Like I had time to eat a sandwich going down a straightaway, because on a dirt bike, you don't think you're thinking way ahead and way further. On the short course track and with the four-wheel car, it was like everything was going slower. And so I don't know if that's the same way.
I felt that same way when you took me to the track. Remember you took me to the track day?
Yeah.
And that was the first time behind the wheel of one of these ever, and it was on the racetrack. I felt really good in it right off the bat, but because of that same feeling. Not so much on the RC stuff. It happens so fast.
That's true. Yeah, the RC stuff is way quicker. So you really have to have that quick reaction time. The big cars, I think, is a little different. And, like, whenever we go to the go-kart track and stuff, it feels like you can't go fast enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
even if you're going 50, 60 miles an hour down the straightaways.
Yep.
So it's much different. So we'll ask Chris and see what he says about the road course stuff too.
Maybe he'll say with age comes a cage, and he means like 14.
Yeah, 14, 15. So yeah, it'll be cool to have him on. It's neat to see. Like the Dirt Life always loves the kids, so it's cool for us to see, because he's going through all this stuff right now that we started the show for. Mm-hmm. You know, we grew up in the dirt, and he grew up in the dirt, and now he's transitioning into he has some pretty lofty goals too. Well, I want to ask him too, but I think he wants to race those electric IndyCar things.
Okay.
Cars. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, is Indy cars electric now, or is it that Formula E series where they look like prototype cars?
I think that's it. I don't follow it enough, so I don't want to step out of line, but I definitely have heard that there's
I've seen
a whole
some of those
series for that.
I've seen some of those races. Holy crap, they look cool. Like, and they have you remember Mario Kart, the video game?
Of course.
They have a
do
little,
they do banana peels and
almost
turtle shells?
You know that little, like, the arrows that you could hit to, like, get speed? If you go around a corner on the outside, you lose time because people can pass you on the inside, right? But it gives your car an extra boost, and you can hit the button whenever you want.
No way.
So you go out there,
What?
you juice up your car, and it's like a transponder loop, but it's for
Okay.
that, like, it clears you.
It lets you do that.
Yeah, and it lets
No
you
way.
boost, so you can go the next lap with full power.
How cool is that?
So
Is there a rainbow bridge track too?
no, on TV, you know how they can overlay, like in football games, they can overlay the
Right.
whatever the distances and stuff.
Right.
They do the same thing on the races. So it overlays like a little blue line that they see the cars
Nice.
going through the blue line, and then they get the speed.
That's cool.
It's like a video game.
It sounds like it.
So I feel like for the younger kids, too, that would be super duper cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to ask him and see what he says about that. But yeah, so we got Chris Nunes coming on. A couple things that I wanted to talk about was Tampa Supercross. I wanted to ask you how your 24-hour bicycle race went. And I also wanted to talk about the transition from, well, any type of racing, I guess. 2 wheels, 4 wheels, dirt, asphalt. Even, going to RC cars from motocross. That was cool, too. So let's talk about your bicycle race, man. How was it?
It was awesome. It's like any big, giant, large event. This thing, I was trying to get the actual number of entries, but it's like 4,000 to 5,000. I hope I'm not stepping out of line there, but I'm positive it's in the thousands.
I could agree with that because I went and just watched it last year. And so what it basically is it's a 24-hour bicycle race, and it goes what town is it? It's Catalina, or is it? It's just
so
north
it's out
of Tucson in Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. Just out in Oracle, not too far from the biosphere, actually.
Oh, okay.
And remember the King of the Hammers episode where they're talking about out in the middle of that old lake bed in the middle of nowhere? Same thing. You head out this dirt road. Well, first you head out of the middle of nowhere, and then you get off dirt road and go 10 miles or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden this giant, it's so big that you can see it 20 miles away.
Yeah.
It's just a clump
just like King of the Hammers,
yes.
With all the people.
So it shows the dedication and how specialized it is. You have to know what you're in for to go there.
Yep.
And what I'm getting at is like any big event like that, there's a couple different, there's guys that just go to hang out, which is awesome, crack a beer, do whatever. Then there's guys that are like, hey, I want to do some racing and hang out with my pals.
Yep.
And then there's the full-on pros that are just killing themselves.
Yeah.
And we fall somewhere in the middle of 1 and 2, I would say.
Because you really try hard?
Well, we try hard, but at the same time, we're like, we want to have a good event.
Yeah.
We want to keep the drama down. We just want to do the best we can and
do better than last year.
Do better than last year. Hopefully the lap times are better. And we accomplished all those goals. We were pretty excited. Aside from a few cramps here and there.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit and tell everybody how it works. So from what I understood last year, and tell me if I'm wrong, is it's kind of like a relay race, right? So you can pick whatever stints you want to do with your own team. So some people can have a one-man team, some people can have a 10-man team, and anything in between or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And the people that I went to watch last year, they had I think 4 or 5 people on their team,
right? And
each one of them went for roughly around 2 hours or so, and then
it's a just over 16-mile loop.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously as fast as you can do it.
So I think what they were doing is like 3 or 4 laps each. And
right. That's usually about how that happens with the 4-man team.
Okay.
About 16.
And then since it's 24 hours, they were coming back. If they weren't tired, if it was during the day, they wouldn't. Yeah. But if it was at night, then they would go to sleep for a little bit and then wake up or something.
Yeah, and hopefully with those 4-man or whatever, you get that like you said, and then that gives you 3-4 hours of sleep, hopefully.
Right, because you have 3 people between you.
Right.
Yeah.
However, until this year, we haven't really figured it out, which now we figured it out. Stop walking. Like we're helping each other because we need to.
Right.
Beginning of the race, oh, heck yeah, I'll be there for your thing. I'll hold the bike and do the thing. And then you realize that you did like 30,000 steps.
Yep.
And then you're wondering why on your first lap your legs are starting to be a little.
So just go and hang out, yeah. So, and then there was some guys that were just like, so they would go and then they'd do their laps and they'd come back and have some beers and then they would like go really slow with their next one. Then they wouldn't go at all. And then another guy had to go. Like, so that part of it seemed like it would be super fun for those guys, but they were obviously not being competitive. They were just having
right. They're hanging out. And that's like I said, that's the one extreme to the other. So it's cool that it's like so diverse.
Isn't there even a thing called the whiskey tree or something like that?
There is a whiskey tree, and last year...
What do you do at it? Because I still haven't figured that out. I mean, obviously you take a drink, but what's the catalyst to take a drink?
It's just, again, this thing has just turned into some wacky deal right out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't even know how that started. But
you go to it, stand next to a tree, and you take a drink of whiskey?
Yeah, so there you can hang them yourself if you want. It looks like a Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a big giant mesquite tree.
Yeah.
And there's all these things hanging around. Well, then it turns into like this other party almost. And in the
That's
middle
hilarious.
of the night, one of actually Ryan Beamish was out there with his buddies bullhorn, and they were what do you call it? They were mocking or I don't know the word for it, but they were
just having a good time.
Heckling. There it is.
Yeah, heckling.
They were heckling and
everyone
trying. Yeah. Oh yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. They're making fun of everybody, and it's funny because
are you supposed to stop on your bike to take a shot, or are you just
if
a
you
spectator?
want to? That's what I'm saying. You can, but that's the weird thing about that whole thing is that okay, yeah, you could go by, take your own, and have a thing, or you could stop, have a party, or whatever. But the funny thing about Ryan is, like, that guy on a bike is insane. He's
really?
so good. So here he is, and he does every discipline. And he's, like, out there heckling. So he's allowed to, in my opinion, because he's that good.
Because he's already got the clout to do it.
Yeah, and one more thing on the Whisker Tree real quick. So last year, first time in history this happened, apparently, 18 years last year. A guy on our team had never ridden before. So he decides, hey, I'll sign up. I'm going to do it. I'll be on the 10-man team. Let's go.
Newbie.
Well, he ends up doing like a 3-hour lap, and we're like, dude, where is he at? It should have been about like 2, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, he comes back. My chain fell off, this and that and the other. And then he goes, I passed by this tree with all these crazy people in a fire, and they're like, whiskey. And he goes, I turned around. And they're like, you're the first one in history that's gone backwards on the course through the desert to get a shot of whatever, fireball or something.
Dude, how fun is that? So
Yeah,
he legit turned around and went and had some fun with those guys?
Legit turned around. And there you go, 3-hour lap.
Dude, that's hilarious. Well, good for him, though.
It's pretty funny. So, yeah, they were out full bore. I've never stopped. What are you gonna do? You're trying to do.
That's hilarious.
And it's funny because it's about halfway through the course, so you got 8 miles to go, and that 8 miles is like most of the climbing.
That's awesome, though. I was trying to see, like, one of my friends, our friends, Adam Bodie, does the race too, and he was telling me about it, and I thought it would be pretty cool. One of my buddies that I went to visit last year at that race was named Jeff Angel. He went out, and I think he might have did it this week. Oh, before I forget, I wanted to give a shout out to Wayne over at We Rise. He gave me the T-shirt that I'm wearing now. It says "Never Give Up" on it.
Sweet.
This is a gray one, but the one I have now is a black one. These T-shirts are super cool, man. So I wanted to thank him. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
These shirts are super comfy too. So, all right. Well, so did you guys do good?
We did all right. Like I said, we were in the middle there. We
Just
had
fun.
one of our guys did awesome, but he had like a major leg cramp, pretty much blew out, and he's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So
you guys had to cover for him?
yeah, we did, but then we're like, we're good.
Yeah.
We got 4 laps. Brian and I, my brother-in-law Brian, got 4 laps. He was really fast. Holy crap, super consistent. Like 3 of his laps were within 35 seconds of each other.
Holy cow.
And his whole goal for the weekend was,
was he just motoring
I want to
the
be
whole time?
consistent, but they were like really fast.
Wow.
It was awesome. But
Dang. So he's been practicing.
yeah, he's a machine. But that, like I said, it's so diverse. And it's so crazy because it's sold out this year in 52 minutes.
That's nuts, dude.
And the single class that you were talking about?
Yeah.
That sold out in 2 minutes.
That's the pro class?
No, it's I'm doing it myself.
Oh.
Single, solo.
How do you ride your bicycle for 24
2
hours?
2 minutes and
though?
56 seconds.
Dude, I have a hard time riding my bicycle for an hour.
I'm with you. Those guys were just out there motoring.
That's insane.
Middle of the night, they're going half speed.
Dude, they live the dirt life. We got to find one of those guys to
They
get
live
on the
the
show.
dirt life, absolutely.
So one of my buddies, and I think I'm speaking correctly here. I used to work with him at Spy Optic. His name's Phil Tinsman. I think him and his team actually won the event.
Awesome.
But he's actually won the Tour de Tucson before too.
Nice.
So he's
That might have been the guy on the gravel bike.
Is he?
Dude, some dude was shredding on a gravel bike.
Yeah.
Like
What do you know? What
shredding.
brand it was?
I don't.
Yeah. Usually, like last year, I don't know if he switched to Giant, but last year he was riding Massey. So, but anyways, he's all time, dude. He's really, really good.
That's sweet.
I'd actually like to have him on the show too. Now I need to write that down. All right. Well, congratulations, dude. That was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, we made it. We finished. It was a good time, and had to do a little recovery today.
Yeah.
Didn't go to work.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. Like doing that much riding over one course of a weekend would be insane. But I'm glad that you guys got to get your dirt fix in.
We did.
I know that you've been looking forward to it for a couple months now too. Well, I look forward to Supercross every weekend. And this past weekend, they had Tampa Supercross, which is the start of the East Coast Lights or 250 class.
Right. So halfway through.
For pretty much everybody, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, first I want to start off by saying I thought it was boring. But
Which part?
just the whole race
The whole
in general.
thing?
Yeah, I mean,
250s was for me.
compared.
At least it was different. Different guy, different players. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to remember though, and the reason I say that is not because Supercross is boring, because
not.
the guys in the last 6 races or whatever, the first 7 races, whatever it was, set the stage pretty freaking high,
my
man.
gosh.
Because there was so many battles. I mean, there's nobody in the 250 class that's going to compare to what Jet Lawrence did that one race.
No.
because that dude was just like a wild man.
That was insane.
So that was pretty cool. But there is some really, really strong talent. I talked with our buddy Josh Shorter today a little bit via text, and all his Thor guys are killing it, man.
They are. Remember what he was saying? Don't worry, they're in hiding. They'll come out. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening. It's kind of finally shaking out. Like, that's why we think it's kind of boring.
Like, what does he have, a crystal ball or something?
Right, but except for the standard was, like you said, the standard was set so high with the battles of the first 4, 5, 6 weekends.
So for the 250 class, you could tell that the heat races, the dudes were like, there was like a few dudes who were like gung-ho, wanted to do it, and the other guys were kind of timid, like trying to find their place.
Right.
But that dude, Shane McElrath, I mean, there was like, he just waxed everybody.
Yeah, I kind of figured, easy to say now, but Shane's been.
Well, I wasn't going to pick him as my top dog for the series, though.
I was kind of there because think about the Yamaha team. The KTM team has always been awesome, but that Yamaha team just pumps out champions.
Well, I guess that Yamaha is like light years above all the other 250s, though.
It's hard.
They were saying that, like, I forgot what I watched, but they were saying that Star Racing Yamaha YZ250F is comparable to performance of a 450.
It's insane.
And those other bikes just aren't.
Those guys are they're awesome.
I would assume that the Geico bikes are probably pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, a Honda, come on, right?
And then Mitch Payton's team or whatever.
Definitely. But anyways, him going to that, I kind of expected some fireworks, but I didn't expect him to just be like,
is that Shane McElrath?
Peace out. What's that?
Is he older?
I think he's getting close to 30, I think.
So Christian Craig's 28.
Yeah, I think
he's
right
probably
around
like right around
26,
that same.
27, I think.
I wonder what the new like age range is then, because I feel like everything is spreading out more.
Remember back in the day when people used to tell us, "Oh, that's a young man's sport," and like Rick Johnson, I think was like done at 25.
Well, even Stewart and Carmichael, like they were already out of the lights class or the 125 class by the time they were 20, right?
I think
20,
so.
21.
I think you're right.
And they had most of their championships done by 26.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. But I think that's super cool, though. It means that all of the stuff that everybody's doing, all the stuff they're eating, and the training that they're doing is making them have a longer span.
I think that it's now actual training. If you think back in the day, like I think
instead of just keg stands and forearm curls.
McGrath and whoever.
Jeff Hemming.
Yeah, like those guys used to. That was always the party bus, is what you always heard, right? And then you get some Ironman.
But how much more fun did those guys have?
I'm sure they did.
That's true, though. And then so kudos to McElrath. And then who got third? There was something surprising that happened in the 250 class that I thought was, like, cool. Oh, it was that kid, Garrett Marchbanks. He kind of ran up through the field, and he's only 18. Right.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome. Martin was okay. I was expecting a little more out of him.
I don't know, man. You got to be, like, pretty realistic when it comes from a serious injury like that. I mean, like, he's an all-time good rider, so you expect a lot because he trains hard, all that stuff. But
very true.
You never ever know how.
Forgot about the broken back. Well, didn't forget about it, but in this conversation,
he said he had like 3 surgeries, 4
something like that. Yeah,
a bunch of different surgeries. So imagine all that trouble they had to go through. Like, that kills most people's mentality.
It's super cool to see him out there and racing for the win, really, technically.
Yeah. Those bikes look pretty cool, too. And that gear, that Thor gear that those guys were wearing on the Star bike, that looks super cool. It's all 90s
so
retro
good.
or whatever.
Love it.
All right, so what do you think of the 450 class? I've been kind of disappointed. Not disappointed in a bad way, but I want Roxon to do better.
I know. It's crazy how it's a little shaken up, kind of. But, I will say, what I can say for sure is that
it's not that shaken up, though, because...
Well, look at Cooper. Cooper came out of nowhere.
Cincerillo has been like the same every race.
It's insane.
But that whether it's not winning, like even if he doesn't win, it's still he's up there.
What's bumming me out is I have a couple buddies that like they just hate. They hate on it, and I'm like, it doesn't hurt me that he didn't win. He's the man, and he's gonna get there. Just give him a minute. He's still doing the freshman. He's still making the freshman mistakes. You know what I mean? But he's pulling hole shots. He's undefeated in qualifying.
He's done the same thing every race.
He has.
So imagine when he just hits that little extra notch, is he going to do the same thing every race too?
And maybe it could just be a little bit of fitness. I don't want to throw that mud on him, you know what I mean? Maybe it's a mental thing. I'm not sure, but
did that crazy sand section get him?
I think it did. I think that's exactly what it was.
That sand section was wacky.
It did. He came off all sideways because remember how some of those ruts were like
How would you have gone through there? Just lean back? Well,
That's all I would have done.
The same thing you did on my 110 when you're in the wash, just lean back and pin it?
Get on the rear fender and give everything you can get out of it.
Dude, I don't know, man. It looks sketchy.
But how about that pass that it was almost like, I mean, Tomac's a smart rider, obviously.
Yeah.
It was like he had his poker hand and was just like,
waiting.
Waiting.
Yeah.
And
I'll sit on this. And
he
then
bust that other line out and see ya. It was perfect timing.
It really was. One thing that I do say that I don't like about the track design, I don't really enjoy all these split lanes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either. It is mixing it up a little, though.
It is, but the split lane that they had here in the sand, once you were done, you could cut over into the inside lane.
Right.
So it didn't really split it. Like you split it, and then you could still cut over it. So you could,
right. It was weird. In fact, a couple times you thought someone was coming from off the track.
Yeah, because they were going the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, what the heck?
Right.
But that sand shot so many dudes. Like in the last chance qualifier, I see dudes like shooting off the track, going backwards, like all sideways.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, you're right. I'm glad that Webb did good. I was stoked on that.
It is cool to see him. He's so smart.
To see the versatility and the consistency of Cincerello was pretty bitchin'. I really want that guy to do good.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm pulling for him. He's still my guy. One of these days, he's going to pull it off.
And I'm not necessarily a Brock Tickle fan.
I forgot about that. That was awesome.
To see him come back from being so far back, and he was battling with like Wilson in top 10 area, like or 10th place area.
He looked really good. It's just like they said. I think he has.
And that Suzuki's not the best bike.
I think he has been secretly just doing the
Ripping
best he
around.
can. Well, I can't race, but I'll just be ready when they let me again.
Where do these dudes get the
cool.
financing to just be ready and take 2 years off? Like,
right?
Like I don't get it.
Maybe he was working at the hardware shop.
Dude, something. Oh, did you hear about Jeremy Martin actually went and worked for a dealership during his time off?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
No.
So he was like having all his surgeries on his back, and he's like, I don't know what my fate is, right? Like, will I ever be able to race a dirt bike again? He's like, screw it. I'm just going to go work at a dealership. So he went to work at a dealership for a while. And like
How cool is that?
He said he hated it.
No, but I mean, imagine if you were to come buying a bike or whatever.
And he's there. He's like, can I help you, sir?
You have a better chance of someone appreciating than being a greeter at Walmart.
He's like, what kind of bike should I get? He's like, well.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
I know the one that I rode for the past 3 years was pretty cool.
Right. That's funny.
But I thought that was a pretty neat little thing to see is that he actually did go and do that. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about before we call Chris, we're actually a little late, so let's hurry up and go through this. Okay. But we've seen all kinds of different people, and we'll ask Chris Nunes about it too, transitioning from different genres of racing into new ones. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, go from motocross to off-road. But very few go from off-road into pavement racing. Mm-hmm. Haley Deegan is actually one of them that went from, off-road, pro lights and stuff. Her dad obviously raced in motocross and short course, and now she's racing NASCAR. In fact, I think I told you before the show, her and Brian Deegan both all got their picture taken with the president of the United States, with Donald Trump.
That's right.
Because he went and did the NASCAR deal this weekend.
Trump showed up. Start your engine. That's bad impression.
I love gold. Start your engines.
Oh, there you go.
So that was pretty cool to see that. But I think it's really cool to see a racer's mentality. And tell me what you think about this because you transitioned from dirt bikes and being around dirt your whole life, and then you wanted something a little bit safer. You still do bicycles, but you did RC car racing. Mm-hmm. I transitioned from motocross into bicycles and then back to off-road and stuff. It's a whole new learning curve every time you do something, right? So 2 wheels to 4 wheels, and then dirt to pavement or asphalt. What kind of mentality, how are all these guys so versatile to be able to figure this out? They all started in the same spot almost.
Yeah, but I think the one thing we might forget is that, okay, so let's say you came from moto, right? We both did. We cut our teeth digging jumps out in the middle of the desert or doing our own top ends. I mean, all that was what we did, right?
A culmination of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe let's just say that took a 15-year span or whatever it was. Right. Through those 15 years, you figured out all the stuff, and then you were able to help the new guy, right? And then if you think about that new guy, he accelerated really quickly because you helped him with all that stuff.
Yep.
So when we moved over to the next thing, we already know this formula that kind of worked for
Yep.
us. And we think about the best guy.
Yeah, that's true. And you reverse engineer it.
Exactly. So now you're like, okay, those are the best guys. I'm going to try to build a little respect for what I'm doing, and then maybe I'll get lucky and be buddies with some of these best guys.
That's
you know
a
what I'm
really,
saying?
really good point. And you did that same thing because you came out swinging pretty good with the RC car stuff, and I did the same thing in short course racing. I remember when I first came on the scene, so to speak, in short course racing, I did pretty good. I was, like, I think my first race, top 5 or podium or something. But anyways, like, I was up there pretty quickly. Like, I wasn't in the back of the pack for very long.
Right.
And then so all of a sudden I go, okay, now I know what it takes to get to the front, but I also know what I can do better than everybody else is doing. So I figured out pretty quickly how to be able to get to the front. And that's true. We should ask Chris and see what he says.
Yeah, you went through those things, like I said, that worked for you over a 15-year period, and then you just get to kind of accelerate it and say, okay, well, we're going to make sure that we know wrenching's important.
Yep.
Right? We had to learn that through 15 years or whatever. So now it's like, okay, my equipment has to be the best it can be. And don't get me wrong, we're not coming into this new genre with like, hey, I want to be the best, so I'm going to find these friends. That's not it. You end up meeting these lifelong, genuine friends because you share that same passion.
Exactly.
But what I mean is that since you're around it, a lot of those people are so advanced at it that it's just natural that you figure it out. They help you. I mean, I owe a lot of all my success. Adam Drake is like the best guy in the whole.
He's like the Jeremy McGrath of
RC
car
industry.
Racing. Yeah.
Absolutely, so dedicated.
He's just a good dude, though.
But anyways, that's what I think helps.
You're right, and being able to understand and diagnose what the other guys are doing too. I guarantee, when you came into RC car racing, you would look at the top guys and say, just look at them without asking a question. Oh, they're doing that.
Right.
Oh, I could do this. Oh, I did this in my X career.
Sure.
Now I can apply that here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
you've got like radar for it. Because this is going to sound terrible and so superficial, but if you think about it, we used to be judging people how they rode by like how their stuff looked.
Exactly.
Like they showed up, their gear was perfect. It means, okay, they care enough to like keep themselves together.
Right.
So their bike's probably put together, and then the bike's perfect.
Dude, I was talking about this.
The rear fender, right? The stickers were perfect. Yeah. Ours had to be. You got to that level to where all that mattered, and it wasn't just because it looked good. It was like you were being a professional at it.
So we had this exact discussion just this past weekend about how you perceive people, right? And what they look at. Like what people look at. I guess it's not just how you perceive them on how their appearance looks. Like you dress for the job that you want, like, so you're talking about these guys that look really pro, but you can also judge them by how they maintain their stuff. Like even if it's clean, best looking stuff, if their sprocket was a little bit,
you can see it's the details. It's the details.
So I see what you're saying. So what you've learned over the past 15 years, you can all of a sudden apply to that, and you can read between the lines, details.
So you can take it over to the same thing, like so you're a pro moto guy and you do your thing, whatever, and then you go to like your first car show, you're going to see the best one.
Yep.
Because you're going to see the one that was for sure a frame off and brand new, perfectly everything.
Yep. And all the work.
And then you're going to see the ones that had the Earl Scheib, but it's still rusty underneath.
The paint's dripping.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You just kind of get a radar for it. And I feel like that's not just me and you. I think that's everybody that does something and tries to apply it to the next thing.
And I think a lot of it has to do with growing up in the dirt life. Like you really understand all the detail because you were so focused on paying attention to things that you may or may not have had growing up.
Right.
So, we never had nice things growing up. So when we saw a nice thing, you bet your ass we looked at every single little piece of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's cool to see that. Well, we can talk to Chris and see what he has to say. We're a little bit behind schedule, so let's go to commercial break, and we will talk to Chris Nunes when we get back. See you guys in a second. Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in the Desert and SCORE. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up instead of
patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's
the
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that, if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Welcome back. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to episode 26 of the Dirt Life Show. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. We want to welcome our featured guest for tonight, Chris Nunes. What's up, bud?
What's up?
How's it going, guys? I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome, man. Well, we're not as awesome as you because your T-shirt.
Not as good as that shirt. That's what I was going to say.
My California kid swag. I'm digging it, California.
That's great.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. I love it. Well, yeah, so let's just ask that. Like, how'd you get the name the California Kid?
Yeah, so it all started off from when I raced motocross. We'd travel all around the world to race, and whenever we'd go to races, since I do a lot of California sports, wakeboarding, surfing, all that, they'd always be like, oh, damn, the California Kid's here. So it just kind of stuck, and we've just carried it over through all the racing we've done now.
Nice.
So what are you saying? We can't do surfing in Arizona?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like dune surfing. That would be sick.
Yeah,
that would be rad.
We actually did that on snowboards. Yeah. So a funny story is that you guys probably done stuff like this too in the past. Is like we wouldn't obviously have an ocean or beach or anything. We would go out like when it would rain. We would go down the like roads that had huge puddles, and we would tow ourselves on the kneeboard behind like a Suburban.
Dude, that's so sick. That is sick. I'd so be down. We'll have to do it.
Yeah. You got to come to Arizona, though, to do that, bud. Actually, no.
All right, hey, I'm down.
Didn't you guys have, like, mad floods, like, a year or two ago that everybody was, like, there was one dude on Facebook that was riding a jet ski in the street or something?
I don't know. Maybe we did. I think, I don't know if they were super bad at our house, but I think they did.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, dude. I really appreciate it. You've been you've been around racing for a long time.
Yeah, I've been into racing ever since I was around 3 years old, and I actually started racing myself when I was 4, motocross. So I've been around it. So I'm 17 now, so I've been racing a long time.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I said you were 18, so you're coming up on 18, huh?
Hey, I'm turning 18 in April, so it's close enough.
Right on, man.
Look out.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. So where'd you grow up in Southern California then?
So I grew up in Alpine. It's just right outside San Diego and the foothills. So definitely a country town and really small. But we have a lot of racers in the off-road industry out here. We have Jarrett Brooks and Sheldon Creed, which a lot of you guys know them. So that's it's fun. It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, there is a bunch of good racers. Dustin Nelson, he lives out there too.
Yeah, Nelson's out here also. That's really cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of motocross guys that I know there too. Yeah, fun fact about me is I lived in Southern California for about 10 years of my life. So.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, I lived up in Carlsbad and Del Mar, but we used to go down and ride in Alpine, Campo, all that stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, that's super cool.
So I know the area really well. So for those that aren't sure where Alpine is, like whenever you're driving from Arizona and you go down the I-8, it's the hills right before you get into San Diego. So it's a really nice place to grow up. And there's all kinds of motocross and stuff out there. Isn't Barona Oaks one of the tracks that you grew up at?
Yeah, Barona was one of the big ones. Paula is also really close to me. And then, of course, Milestone, Paris, all of those two. Really great tracks also.
Yeah, that's right, because you can go the back way to get over there, huh?
Yeah, you can.
So who got you into dirt bikes?
Actually, it was my parents. They've both been into extreme sports. My dad raced stand-up jet skis professionally for Yamaha, and my mom was a professional wakeboarder and water skier.
Whoa.
So
nice.
Extreme sports were already in the family blood. And actually, there's probably a lot of people from the East Coast right now, from my mom's following, watching right now too. So hi, guys. And so it was in the blood. Since we live in kind of mountainous area now, of course, we're not right on water. So it was like, well, what can we get him into? And it happened to be motocross, as it was a great family sport.
They just rolled the extreme sport dice and see which came out.
Yeah, they're like, what can we do here? Yay, motocross.
That's cool. We were talking about like transitioning from different sports and stuff and like being able to see that. So it's funny to see that we were talking about like doing it personally, but they were doing it for the second generation, like from the mom and dad
That's
down
awesome.
to Chris, like that's pretty cool. So they were like actually seeing what was the actual reason you got a dirt bike then? They were into dirt bikes or?
Yeah, they're super into dirt bikes, and I think the first time I actually rode it at the desert, and it was on just a PW50. So it was just the right time. I was the right age. So like, let's see if he likes motocross. And my cousins did it also, and they raced just like local Barona Oak stuff for their series, the CMMC. So we just went out and watched him. We're like, all right, he's gonna race. So after I rode the PW, I got my KTM 50, and that's where it all really started.
Dude,
You know what's insane about the PW50? That thing does not get enough credit. It's been around forever.
That's true.
And it's still a guy like you that's always what we hear. It was the same thing with Sipes.
Yeah, that's true.
PW50.
We interviewed Ryan Sipes a few weeks back, and he said he started on a PW50 too, and he had his son start on a PW50.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
Totally.
start on PWs.
And it's so what I'm getting at is like think of the race bike now. like
But
whatever
the
it is.
PW50 still the same?
The PW50 still the same, and it's still the one that is like what starts all these dreams and careers. It's so funny to me.
Now they have all those Stasics and all the electric stuff now, though, too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So did you grow up like, dude? Verona was one of my favorite tracks, man. That place
All-time
is so
favorite.
cool.
All-time favorite for me.
Yeah, so there's actually a little local series there called Team MC. And when I was racing, I was riding a Cobra 50 at the time, if you guys have heard of those, probably. And it was like a 12-race series there. And we had tons of fast kids, and I went undefeated there like 2 years in a row. Something crazy.
Yeah,
Awesome.
dude, killing it.
Well,
there it
on
is.
the undefeated poster right there.
There's
That's pretty cool. They
Is
made
that like
that.
a little knack going on, or is that the
There's about
fender?
two of them.
Are you doing a trick in that
What's
picture,
up?
or what is it?
Yeah, is there a little knack going on, or is that like a fender or something that I can't tell?
Oh, no, that was just part of my style. I always did like a fender kiss almost as I whipped.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's what you can see on
Gotcha.
that one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool, man. Those are some pretty cool pictures
Yeah.
right there.
So you know what the coolest thing
Oh,
about
cool, thank
Verona
you.
is?
Huh?
Is they would have side hack racing every now and again.
Verona would have that?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do they? Have
Yeah,
you ever
they did
seen
that.
that happen? I mean, I'm sure
The
you
side
have.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's
It's so
insane.
crazy.
It's the coolest
Dude.
thing ever.
What
Yeah.
do they? The guys really like go?
Dude, they're nuts. They were sending this huge tabletop. The thing was like
and the
90
dude
feet.
doesn't fly out of the little side thing.
Don't ask me how. He's
Oh my
Velcroed in or
gosh.
Yeah,
something.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, but
No
no,
way.
that's crazy.
Yeah, do you
Dude.
have a crazy enough buddy? Maybe my buddy B-Rat, John Lavoie, would do it with me.
If you asked me to do it, I would just say no. Sorry, man. You guys can go do whatever you got to do.
Right.
Can you imagine like flying out of the side of that thing?
No.
Yeah, would you try that, Chris?
I mean, it depends. Maybe I don't want to
driving?
fall off, especially now. I don't want to get hurt now for racing cars, but I mean, I'd probably still go for it. Maybe on a pit bike track, but
Would you let
I'd
your
try
mom?
it. Why not?
Would you let your mom ride and you could be the side hack?
Yeah, I'd do it. I don't know if she would do it. Heck no.
What
She
about
hates
your
being
mom and your
passenger,
dad?
but-
Would they both do it together?
Oh, heck no. There's no way. No way. My mom doesn't trust my dad that much. No way.
That's pretty awesome. Well, so you grew up riding mini bikes. We know that. well, what kind of mini bikes did you have? You said you had a KTM 50, a Cobra 50.
Yeah, so I went from a KTM 50 to the Cobra 50, the small wheel Cobra. I raced for a few years. I raced a bigger wheel Cobra. And then from there, I got sponsored by KTM. I was on their youth team called Orange Brigade. You guys might have heard of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I was racing for them on a 65, and that was in around 09. So I raced for them, and then that's when obviously I went to a KTM 85, still on Orange Brigade. I raced for them until the point where I was getting 2 free bikes a season. And then that's when we ended up getting an offer from Kawasaki. So I went to Kawasaki for a season 2 for Team Green.
Wow, dude, that's pretty cool.
And
Let's
then
take a step back.
that's right at the point when we ended up going to off-road cars for short course.
Well, I think we should take a step back here because
Yeah.
we were talking about like he just went through like it was no big deal.
That
but,
was legit. Those steps were wow.
So we were talking about this before the show, actually, Casey and I. We were talking about how kids progress or even grown-ups progress at different levels of racing. So it sounds like you started winning pretty early on in your career or in your youth.
Yeah, whatever. I have, this is one of my best skills, and I feel like a lot of people might lack this. I have the ability to adapt to whatever I'm racing super well. So I started off in motocross. We discovered I had a lot of, we call it God-given talent. And I worked hard at it, and we're super successful. It's funny, you're talking about Garrett Marchbanks and everyone. I actually trained with them with Buddy Antonez, super cool guy. So I trained with all of them. So yeah, it's just super cool.
So you learned the hard work and the ethics and moral and all that good stuff at a pretty young age, huh?
Yes, yeah, correct. Yeah, and it was all through motocross. But as soon as I knew that I was good at adapting to stuff, and I was like, well, what do I want to do for a career or anything in racing? I was like, I want to be a race car driver. So I was like, well, what can we do? I'm good at adapting, so let's get as many different titles we can get in different vehicles to apply to my end goal so that way I look good for teams and everything. So that's what we've been chasing right now, if you guys haven't been able to notice.
That's pretty driven.
Well, first of all, I love the goal orientation that you have. Like, that's super cool. But let's take another step back real quick, too, is that when you go through all this stuff, like, and you can attest to this right now, is you probably had to work pretty hard at understanding mechanics. You probably had to work pretty hard at understanding, like Casey and I used to build jumps in our backyard, and you probably also understood things like how much my parents are sacrificing or showing me to learn and do all this stuff.
Yeah, so that's another big thing, actually, that's going to be touched on. We're a really low-budget team, so I almost do all the mechanics myself. At one point, my dad had cancer, and when he was battling that, it was just me and my mom going to the races. So me and my mom did all the prep work at the track. We had to do motor pulls some races in the mod cart when the motor blew up. So it definitely taught me that mechanical edge, which also taught me driver feedback really well.
Yep.
So that ended up playing a big favor for me. So, definitely. I mean, being mechanically involved in whenever you're racing definitely helps you at the end. You definitely see a lot of kids just kind of sit back in the car scene, and they're just like, okay, let the mechanics do it. No way. You're not going to get that car feedback that's super important. I'm a firm believer in the driver working on their stuff.
Yeah, or at least understanding it and knowing it. Like, maybe you don't have to work on it when you're, 30 years old at a professional IndyCar level or something. But when growing up,
that'll be a little different. But then you already understand everything. You already understand it all.
Exactly. So there's a new kid. His name's Carson Mumford, and he's obviously a badass rider. But I watched it.
If you can get Carson on here, me and Carson are great buddies.
Yeah, we should get Carson on, but we're going to talk a little shit on him first right now. So, I watched a video today, and they were making fun of him because he barely knew how to put gas in his bike. Is that true?
I wouldn't doubt it. I haven't seen that kid in years, but I want to see him. Yeah, I would not doubt that, actually. Yeah, but with Honda now and everything.
So, I love that he's such a goal-oriented dude, and he's like a really hard worker, and I see great things for him in the future. But I really like the stories that you bring up about being able to work on things. Like, well, okay, so let's ask this: what's your favorite car that you've had so far to work on, or dirt bike?
So I'd have to say it was my Pro Buggy. That was the off-road car we raced last season. We got it, and it was pretty much a back-of-the-pack car. And my dad was all healed up, and he's actually an engineer. So we're like, well, what can we do here to make this thing rip? Because we just bought it cheap, and we're like, we can make this thing a winning car. Nice. So we ended up doing a ton,
so cool,
tons of work to it. We designed tons of stuff as it's a spec class, and you have to do creative things to get more power. So we did tons of legal things no one's ever heard of. LeDuc's actually heard of it, and they were trying to do stuff to his car like we were doing last season, but they couldn't even pull it off. So, me and my dad definitely figured out some crazy things, and it made us go from running mid-pack to being able to just run away with races. Crazy.
That's cool.
It was super, super good feeling.
Well, I want to talk about that a little bit, but don't sell yourself short. You were still the driver. You were still wheeling that bad boy. So kudos to you, too.
Thank you, yeah.
So,
do you know how far this stuff is going to take him in life, period?
Well, we were just talking about
totally, because we're always looking back on those things, and it's, maybe at a higher,
his dad reverse engineered one single class.
Totally.
Just to win
so
that
at a higher level than I ever have, absolutely. But it's a very similar story. We were just talking about it. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Pumped for you.
Heck yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, and Paul Yaw did the same thing this year with Robert Stout's, YXE, and reverse engineered everything and made the best out of it, just like you guys did. I think racing in general is always going to have that competitive edge when you have mechanics and stuff involved. Actually, I wanted you to tell Casey about this because I read it somewhere. But the Pro Buggy stuff, you have a cutting brake and you have an H shift pattern, right? So it's really difficult to drive?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, so Casey and everyone out there who doesn't know, the Pro Buggy is known by everyone in the short course industry to be the hardest cars to drive. So
might as well jump in there, right?
Yeah. So you have a lot of weight in the rear of the car.
Right.
And so the cars want to push, so you have a cutting brake.
Right.
And then you have a reverse H pattern gearbox, so over and up is actually reverse.
Right.
So, and they're straight cut gears. So it's a very, very hard gearbox to ship. You just have to jam it in there.
Totally.
And Yeah, and then it's really hard. And on top of all that, you're racing open wheel also.
Sure.
So you have to be very careful on the contact. You have to pass very, very clean. And it honestly just develops a great driver from anyone who hops in them.
Well, and it's got to be respected on both sides, driver against other drivers, because we know open wheel. Totally get it.
Yeah, and
it gets nasty if there's any contact.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
They're probably even like way busier than we were. So like when we were racing the side by sides, like I went from the Polaris to the Yamaha, and the Polaris is pretty easy to drive because you just hit the gas and turn it.
Right.
But the Yamaha was like you were so much busier in the cockpit, and being in a pro buggy, you're even busier because you have to operate a handbrake.
Yeah,
too.
that's like old school sand rail, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
it's
a race car. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it, but I mean, there's a lot going on. It's like a 1950s tractor. You know what I mean? There's stuff happening.
And they're pretty limited too. What do you run, an Ecotech motor in those things?
Yeah, it's an Ecotech. It's just stock Ecotech. That's all you can do. You can have it tuned. You can have intakes on it, pipes, but other than that, everything has to be all stock on it.
So when you have that low horsepower, it puts everybody right next to each other.
Yeah.
So when he says that you got to watch out for other guys and be courteous and stuff.
Totally.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And you did pretty well though in your short course racing tenure, right? Like you did really good in the mod kart class. Did you start out in mod karts?
Yeah, so I went from motocross straight to mod kart. I actually did one race in a junior too, and I wasn't a super big fan because going from motocross, it's high adrenaline shifting, and in junior two, there was no shifting. I was like, okay, I need some more speed, I need more power.
Yeah.
So we got a mod kart. Same thing. We started off with kind of a cheaper cart. We developed it into a good cart, but not to the extent of the buggy.
Did UTVs exist at that time or no?
No. I think there's like a Yamaha Rhino.
Oh, okay. So it was around like what? When did you get into your first mod kart? Like what year?
I got my first mod kart when I was 11 years old.
Do you know what year that was? Was that 13?
Yeah, like around 13. Yeah,
okay,
12
cool.
or 13.
Yeah, so
it was 012. It was 012.
So yeah,
my mom said in the background.
Side by sides were definitely not. Do you like the side by side stuff or no?
Yeah, I actually love side by sides. It just for me personally, when I started racing buggy, the UTV deal wasn't super developed yet or big. And literally the first season I started racing buggy and we committed to it, that's when UTVs blew up. So we had no idea it was going to happen. We kind of saw it at a regional level, but we already had our buggy, and then they blew up. So I was like, well, we don't have the budget to race both or the time or mechanics or anything. So I was like, yeah, we'll just have to stick with buggy. But, yeah, I love UTVs. We actually had a Yamaha for a while, and it just kind of sat in the garage. I never got to go out to the desert much because I was always training and everything for the off-road. So, yeah, I love UTVs for sure. They're amazing.
Do you guys still have a UTV or no?
No. I think we're actually going to get a four-seater here soon. We've been getting more into the desert stuff just for fun, especially since me and my family are all starting to get a little older. It's a lot more fun, and it kind of brings us together.
Tell your mom and dad to go get that four-seater this week, and you can go meet us at the dunes because we're going to go to Park on Gecko on the 27th through the 29th.
I have to drive now. All right. My mom said she'd be down, but she has to be the one driving it.
Sweet.
So, I might have to take you up on that, though. So
yeah.
we'll see if we can convince him.
I'm gonna say missing that UTV explosion is a blessing in disguise. You probably don't realize it yet, because it's forced you guys to not to take anything away from the top of the UTVs, not at all. But this is different, and like you said, everything that's going on, and with your end goal in mind, I think it's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Pretty awesome.
Especially learning how to drive them. Like, I'm pretty lucky though. Like, well, I guess for argument's point, I was right in the middle of that UTV blow up because I wasn't there at the beginning of the UTV stuff, and then I just come, understanding motocross, and then I go like race a Polaris RZR for a year, and then all of a sudden, like we get a YXZ, and there's 40 dudes on the track. Like, it was insane. Yeah. Like, I remember one time at Glen Helen, I was still in my Polaris RZR, but when it was at the regionals, I didn't have good qualifying, so I started 28th out of 36 cars, I think. Like, super deep.
Crazy.
And at the end, I was 3 feet from passing for third place. Like, can you imagine how gnarly
Yeah.
that would have been to pass, like, you know how it is to be on the short course track, to pass like 20-something dudes
It's crazy.
and not get in
Well,
any drama. Like, how
Yeah.
the heck did I do that? I have no idea still to this day.
Moto, that's how you did it.
Like, just dodging people like
Yep.
Yeah, it's moto. It's your
It
moto
is.
back. It's your moto back.
Totally
for sure.
is.
Have you had any
Getting
races
gears.
like that?
Oh yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them. Sometimes, one time we had a car breakdown in qualifying, so we had to start in the back. And those are always the most fun races, having to work your way through the pack and doing it clean. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
How do you deal with that then? Are you like way more like ready to go just because you know that you can do it because of moto?
Yeah. There's a fine line of being smart, and at the same time, you have to go for it. You have to do it, but you have to pull it off clean so that way you don't get black flagged. So there's definitely a line of
I call them
let's send it,
calculated.
let's go for it. But there's also that
Semi-calculated.
line where you can't go too hard.
Casey and I were both thinking the same thing. He said that he thinks like you're calculated, right?
Yeah,
but
it's
like
a semi-calculated risk.
Yeah, and me and my dad would do the math behind it, and it's around if there's 24 cars, you have to pass like one car a lap, pretty much.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, 'cause
one to 2 cars a lap.
depending on where you want to be in the positioning, like third, first, whatever.
Yeah, correct.
So how would you do it? Like, how would you reverse engineer it in your head then? So if you say you have to pass one car a lap, right? And in the first turn, you're, I don't know, 2 lengths behind another car. Would you say, okay, if I nail these 2 next turns in the 4th turn, I can get this dude?
So yes, in a way. So what I would do, so we're going first lap, we're going green. I'm really good at starts. I practiced them a lot, and when I had a training school, I also went over them, so that helped also. If you don't get any cars off the start, then what I would do is I'd focus on setting them up for later on in the track. So let's say I'm behind one of you guys, let's say. And it's the first lap, everyone's close, so you guys are all running protective. Everyone's going to be protective that first lap, so I'll be running wide to try to get momentum for the next corners, to either get them on the inside or be on their outside, so that way the next corner after that, I'm on their inside.
Yep.
So, just a lot of strategy that goes into it. And, that's the biggest thing, just to always think ahead and be thinking about a few turns in front of you whenever you're racing anything.
Go ahead. It's so moto.
It really is.
Because it's like when you talk to anybody and that's like successful in their life, whether it be business or whatever, it's this whole reoccurring theme of starting with the end in mind. Like the goal is what's at the end. That's my goal. And you almost have to, because you can't look at your fender. You have to be looking ahead.
Well, in moto, everybody starts dead start. They don't start in front of each other like short course. Like you're all right there on the start.
Right.
So you're last until you're first.
Right, exactly. And so these mindsets of what you're talking about, it's like it translates into real life, because racing life is our life, right? But also in real life, there's all these things that it's going to make everything easier, in my opinion, because you're going to look at whatever it is that you move on. You're going to have the end in mind when you start, just like you said.
Well, so let's ask him then about how he deals with like stuff in school. So since you have to obviously graduate and you see the end in mind, like you know that you have to do well in all your classes because you have to graduate at the top of your class, or how do you usually do that stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of my sponsors actually like to see my report cards. So
Awesome.
I've always tried really hard in school. Because I want to be in the engineering field. If for some reason racing doesn't quite work out, which I'm trying to make it happen. So I'm trying to become an engineer. That's my plan B. So I want to go to college. So I've always been a stickler on my grades. So the last half of the year for my school, I had all straight A's, and I've had 4.2 GPAs in the past. So I take schooling very seriously, and I'm super open with my teachers. That's a big thing too. So if anyone's into racing, tell your teachers, they'll love it. I've even had teachers come to races. So they're super cool about it. So whatever work I'd be missing, just get a packet or whatever you're going to be missing and bring it to the races. Well, very easy to stay caught up with your work.
I personally, and I know Casey will agree with this statement, I'm proud of you and the racing stuff that you've done and for being such an energetic, like goal-oriented kid. But I'm more proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm more proud of you for doing so well in school. I hated school. Like, couldn't stand it, right? Like I didn't even want to go.
This guy too.
And Casey was kind of the same way, but we always got good grades. We did what we could, and you never know what's going to happen in life. and
Yeah.
I fell back on my education, and I was thankful and lucky for it, and I know Casey was too. So I can't tell you how proud I am of you for keeping up your grades, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, yep. I definitely put in a lot of hard work.
Nice work, Mom and Dad, too.
yeah.
Heck
So-
yeah.
So you think that so far, I would assume that the buggy has been your favorite car to drive, but you've transitioned into doing some street racing. What do you think your next favorite vehicle is going to be to drive?
Okay, yeah. So right now we just got into street racing, asphalt in particular. We're racing a series called NASA. So really anyone can get into NASA. It's a great series. Highly recommend it to anyone listening. They have it all over the country for whatever region you're in. So right now I'm starting in Spec Miata, and I'm going to be working up through the ranks, obviously. But my dream car that I feel like would be my favorite car to race would probably be a Formula E car, just because that's where our technologies and everything are going towards electric vehicles. So all the car companies are going to be into it. They're all going to want their drivers. So that's where my end goal is. Or it would also be super fun to race like a WeatherTech car. So maybe like a prototype car or LMP car, just anything they'd race in the WeatherTech Cup. That'd be a lot of fun.
I love the Porsches. Like, those are one of my favorite
Yeah.
ones. Dude. Those things are so cool. I do agree with what you're saying, though, is like that. I don't know much about it. You know way more than me, but that Formula E series looks so cool.
Well, you guys, hang on. You guys do know a lot about it because you guys are all RC car guys, which I am too. It's basically an RC car if you think about it. So
Yeah, that's true, because it's just got does it have one brushless motor, or do they have brushless motors in each wheels?
Ooh, I think they're all. I think it's like all independent, like 4 different motors on them. I'm actually not sure though.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That'd be interesting.
It would
Well,
be easier to keep the cost down, I would bet.
We're gonna have to have his
Yeah.
dad check it out and reverse engineer
Yeah,
this
there you
bad
go.
boy, so they can start
Yeah.
getting their program going now.
Totally.
So maybe he builds a RC car scale one,
Right.
and starts figuring it out.
We need to call Tekin and see if they can make motors for
Yeah.
these.
So Casey has all the RC
Yeah.
car hookups, dude. If you need them.
All right, bet. Yeah, I'm actually sponsored by Techno. So
Nice.
Yeah,
I ran for them
mean,
for a couple of years. Nice.
Heck yeah. I love Techno. It's definitely RC is just great for anyone also who is into racing. Great cross training, in my opinion. I love
It is. And
It's a lot of fun.
Daniel is like the coolest guy on the earth, and he started that
Yeah.
company in his garage. He's awesome.
Yeah, he kills it, and he has great drivers. He has great drivers,
He
and they
does.
kill it too.
He
They
does.
kill it, and their stuff is just so durable and reliable. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have RC car tracks around there?
Yeah, we have one big one in San Diego. It's called SDRC,
Oh yeah, I think I went there.
and there's one a little further away. It's in Oceanside, California, and it's called OCRC,
Oh, right on.
or Orange County. My mom said.
Right on.
My
Yeah,
mom's into RC too,
Which one-
so there we go. She's
Which
awesome.
one did you take me to? We went to Milestone, I know that, and then some other place that you took me to with Adam Drake.
Oh, we went to Revelation.
Dude, I like didn't know anything about RC. I
Nitro
just got
track.
myself like an SC10, and I was out there,
Yeah.
and I just like brought batteries in my pockets, and I just switch them out on the driver's stand and keep going. And I come back like an
Heck
hour and a
yeah.
half later, and Casey goes, "Where'd you go?" And I go, "I just been going the whole time." He goes, "So you're gonna blow that thing out, dude."
They gotta watch your motor temps.
I was like full endurance RC champion.
He was writing his name down the straightaway, and anybody else's that he wanted him to
just
write.
peeling out, yeah, like
Yeah.
I was horrible, dude, like really, really bad.
Well,
But-
that wasn't the track for the two-wheel drive.
Poor RC guys, man. They're all talking shit about me.
That's awesome.
We
Good.
want to go RC car racing, though. I just got a. Have you seen that guy on Instagram? His name's Nick Watlett. He Wally builds. He
Wally
he built
builds.
me up like a really cool. It's even got the shocker with the
Yeah.
my name and stuff on it. He built me up. What's it called? SC 6.1. And
Yeah.
I've had it for
So
4
you're
months,
good.
and I haven't even been able to drive it yet.
Well, we should do a track day at SDRC. We get us a bunch of people together and have like a little party deal at the track. That'll be a lot of fun.
So I may or may not be coming to California in a couple weeks, so I'll have to hit you up.
Yeah, just let me know. Let me know.
What RC cars do you have?
So I have the Techno EB410. I literally have every Techno car. I have the EB410. I have their SCT410. I have their 48.1 and 2 and 3 for their 8 scale
Do you know all
e-buggy.
those ones?
I don't. I don't have any nitro stuff from them. And then I have a team associated B6.1 for stock two-wheel drive. And I got my mom a team associated B6.1 factory light kit for spec racing also, 17.5.
Are any of the ones that you said short course trucks?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the SCT 410. And I'm sponsored by Techno, so I can't run it anymore. I have the Kyosho truck also.
So I heard you say you had the associated two-wheel drive, whatever, buggy. I can't remember what version they're on now, 7.72
The B6.1
or whatever.
6.9.
But this is funny because in the RC world, we know that if you want to be the best guy, you need to race a two-wheel drive buggy also. It doesn't have to be, you have to specialize in it, but you have to be able to do it. And same thing in the big scene. So there's lots of parallels going on here.
That is true, right?
That's awesome. Oh, yeah.
So you got to be able to drive a two-wheel drive buggy in short course to be able to know all the other ones. So, like, if he wanted to go drive a Pro 4 in short course, he would already have all the skill set to be able to do it.
Oh, yeah, because two-wheel drive is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, there is a big correlation there.
Totally.
Big time. Yep.
That's crazy.
I see what you're doing here.
What kind of stuff did you take from motocross that you transitioned over into off-road? Like line selection, like what kind of stuff?
So actually, line selection was definitely not one of them. In moto, it was always all about that inside. You want to be on that inside rut.
Yep.
Get you through the corner the fastest. Off-road qualifying, it was not like that. You definitely want to start wide, come in, hit your apex halfway through the corner, and be gone. You do not want to come in tight. You can't carry your momentum like that. So that was one of the things that really didn't correspond right, was the lines. So that was the biggest learning curve I had coming from moto. But just that competitive edge and not being afraid to be super close to people and definitely pushing it to the limit definitely came from motocross for sure. And just being used to car control and everything. I actually learned that from motocross, having those fast reaction times and everything. That all came from moto.
What was the reason that you decided to retire motocross so early?
So I kind of touched on it on the beginning. I don't know if I totally did, but my end goal has always been to race some sort of car, and I've been working up through that. So when I was 12, I was like, okay, we have enough titles. I've won World Minis, I've won Mammoth, I've won the AMA Arena Cross Plate 2 years in a row. So I was like, I have enough titles where now I can go into an off-road car and get titles also, just to keep building my name and representation of who I am. So that way later on, when I go to apply for an IndyCar team or Formula E team, I have all these different racing titles, if that kind of makes sense.
And what was that age again? 14? 13?
Yeah. When did you quit motocross?
I quit. I didn't quit because I still ride. I actually have a pit bike track in my backyard. So I stopped when I was around 12, right around there, 12 or 13.
So I think he's got another title, and the title is the soonest to retire motocross.
Yeah, and again, I'll go back to that iconic.
Yeah, with age comes the cage.
Yeah, there it is, right?
Sure.
Except this time it's
age
12.
Comes the cage.
But
I
this
didn't
time
have
it's
any
12.
super bad injuries.
It's the earliest age in the cage at 12.
Hey, if I hadn't known this story and seen how smart he was doing this,
Yeah,
maybe
what were we thinking?
Yeah, we would have retired early too. We wouldn't be so jacked up anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so if you had a total dream world, right, and you could drive any car that you wanted, you could drive a monster truck, you could drive an F1 car, and you go out there and drive it for a day, what car would you pick?
Right now, I'd say Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes F1 car for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I just want to experience those G-forces and that speed and everything, and be with that caliber of drivers. And I think my talent would shine in the F1 car, honestly. So that would be a lot of fun. I definitely want to race an F1 car.
So good answer, but I'm not surprised because in my mind I was thinking it's gonna be. I have to pass 1.36 people.
Yeah.
So I figured it wasn't going to be just an F1 car. It was going to be so-and-so's with this, and that.
All the details.
Awesome.
Yeah, because the Mercedes team kills it. Yeah, they are very good, and they've been really successful. So, but it'll be interesting to see how they all do this season coming up. So Ferrari and everyone.
Did you see that they got the Mercedes team got sponsored by a company called Ineos?
Yeah, I saw that. It's on top of their new livery they have going on.
So that I don't know if you know, but like Casey and I are super into bicycles, and Ineos is the team sponsor for Pinarello, and Pinarello is the bicycle that I ride. So I'm super into that
Heck yeah.
company. Do you guys do any cross training or anything?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I do right now is I race shifter carts. I actually won a national title in shifter carts.
Sweet.
So that's the biggest cross
big
training
deal.
I do.
No big deal.
I'm a little bit. Me and my mom definitely mountain bike. It's great cross training for cardio. But I've never competed in mountain bikes. I wish that would be so fun. But yeah, just go-karting right now and RC cars. Those are my two biggest things for cross training.
That's kind of where I was going with that question, is what do you like do to stay like active and healthy? I mean, he's 17, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. But yeah, like we always did, like every single time we weren't on our dirt bikes, we were always on our bicycles or like mountain biking or just doing stuff like that, having fun because we live the dirt life.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, mountain biking, great. Pit bikes are also a lot of fun, so I always mess around with my buddies on those. So I think my neighbor's watching right now. I always ride pit bikes with him like every day. He comes
right
in,
on.
let's ride. I'm like, all right, let's hop on the bikes, let's go ride.
Nice. So it's good. I thought he was going to say the neighbor was going to be mad because he makes a bunch of noise.
No, I did on my Instagram video for those people who are watching right now. I posted a video of me doing donuts in the shifter cart. The cops actually ended up coming for that because the neighbors called the cops. So I should have had it on video, but the cops ended up coming for that. So I have to be careful now. I have to be careful.
Maybe this is the part that I'm going to clip out of this episode. The cops coming for doing
Chris Nunes gets arrested for drifting a shifter cart.
Right. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. So I'm kind of getting like a I don't know, a repeat of everything that he's been saying. Like, so how cool would it be to be like, yeah, I'm going to go like riding with my mom mountain bikes, and then all of a sudden mom wastes you and you got to come home and they're like, oh, crap.
Oh, it's so awesome. So funny.
Is she faster than you?
Oh, heck no. No way. Heck, yeah. No, that's not happening. Sorry, Mom. She ain't beating me. No way. No way. I used to be on a mountain bike team for my school, and they'd always race, but most of my off-road races overlapped with them, so I could never do them.
Hey, so don't speak.
I think it's called like the Dirty 30. Have you heard of that race, the Dirty 30?
There's
and the something 50.
Dirty Kanza for sure. Is that
maybe?
Okay?
So don't speak
There's
too
like
soon
30-mile
about.
races they're doing.
Okay, wait a minute. This is in California. You're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in California. So.
My bad. This is like a high school meet or whatever teams. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was literally like we had jerseys and everything, and when they'd go compete, they'd be like representing our school.
Okay, yeah,
much.
gotcha. We have some of that out here too. It's pretty cool.
That is cool that they can do that nowadays. I was going to say, don't rest, though, dude, because your mom could probably beat you. I'm already thinking about getting one of those e-assist bikes, so maybe your mom get one of those bad boys and she whacks you, dude.
Yeah, see, hey, you guys are talking about technology already.
Yeah,
that's cars, electric bikes. Telling you, Formula E is going to be a big thing.
I don't
electric
disagree.
UTV is going to be a big thing.
I watch Formula E a little bit because I'm really, really into it. Like, I like the technology portion of it. Casey and I were actually talking about this on our commercial break. Like, a lot of the stuff that we learned, and you're learning it right now, with mechanics and all these different things we learned with motocross and everything we learned growing up translated really well. I broke my back, and then I had to go to school, and I got a computer science degree, and the mechanics of it and stuff was super easy for me because I already knew it, and then all the technology stuff kind of fell in, and then I go through all these different things in life with business and stuff, and then I get messed up again, and I got to start a podcast, and all this technology stuff pays off again. It's like, it's crazy how much you see all these things overlapping during your life, so I'm so glad that you're noticing all this.
Thank you. Yeah, yep, they all overlap for sure.
And Casey kind of did the same thing with with his work and stuff too. So it's super cool, and I think that's neat too that your parents are giving you the freedom to be able to understand all this stuff, man. Yeah, they definitely they're all for me chasing my dreams and just doing whatever I love. Because I'm for sure whatever I do, it's going to be in the automotive industry for racing or whatever. Whether I'm a test driver or I'm an engineer for a race team, I'm definitely going to be involved in it. So they think it's great what I'm doing. They're super supportive. So I'm blessed too, honestly.
Absolutely. You know how much more the whole thing's going to be worth? Even one of those bad races or hard races where you had to get in and get dirty. Like there's so much respect there, like more than I think. But at the same time, when you get to wherever it is you're going to look back on all that and be like, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Instead
totally.
of the stark contrast of the dad does everything and I just ride or I just wheel it or whatever. So huge props to you guys for sure.
Thank you.
Have you had
Thank
any
you,
of
that means
those
a lot.
any of those races yet? Like, have you had one of those days where it was just like, God, I didn't make qualifying, I blew up an engine, or something happened to my car, and I had to fix it, and all of a sudden you go through all this adversity in one weekend, and then you end up on the top of the podium, or you like learn from it, like one of those really weekends you just come home and you're like, I am so proud of myself.
Yeah, and I'd have to say it's going to be another pro buggy thing. So the first season we did in buggy, we already knew it was kind of a slow car, so just getting used to driving the thing because it's so different from a mod cart. We're always okay. We had like a bunch of top 5 finishes, and we got back after that last race where I was used to winning in mod cart, so it was tough on me. I was like, all right, Dad, we got to figure out what we can do here. So we sat down, went to the drawing boards. A sponsor of mine up here in Alpine, Mountain Materials, they'd come over pretty much 4 days a week and help us weld on new things, try a bunch of new stuff. And we came into the first race in California at Glen Helen. We just dominated. We smoked everyone by a lot, like 5 car lengths, smoked them. So that was like the biggest sense of gratification we got, I think. And just as a whole little small team, that we took this mid-pack car, made it a winning car. And it was a great feeling, especially after we put in all that hard work and hours on it.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't give very much detail on all the work that they put on it, but he's probably talking about weeks and weeks weeks of just working nonstop on a car to get it ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah, and plus all that prep too.
And you were learning a new vehicle and stuff too. Like when we did that, like I didn't know how to build a race car, and I would build all my own cars, like the whole thing from start to finish, and I had no idea how to do it until I just jumped in and did it.
Yep. Yeah, I've been honored to be able to do this. It's a lot of fun.
Did your dad help you with that too? He's like, okay, we got this car, and was he able to like show you like what like engineering stuff, like we could change this, we could do this, and like learn with him?
Yeah, so he was the test rider for Yamaha also, so he gave a lot of feedback for them. So he's very good at that. If you've heard of the Yamaha Wave Blaster, it's like a dirt bike on the water.
Totally remember
He actually was the one that submitted all the drawings for it and was a test rider and developer for all of that whole ski. So he's super into developing new parts for vehicles that help him be successful.
That kind of sounds like the same thing that you did when I raced RC cars with Casey. Have you heard of the Losi SCTE? It's the 4-wheel drive truck.
Yep, of course.
So the guy sitting right next to me is the one that made that car. He developed it, and
heck yeah!
I've got the box art.
That's
art
my
is claim
his
to
So
fame.
you're a TLR guy. You're a TLR guy. Then.
I was for a long time.
I love TLR guys. Adam Drake, super cool guy.
He's the best.
So Adam's one of Casey's good friends, actually.
Yep.
Oh wow, I want to meet him. That would be awesome. So
well, we can make that happen. That's easy. That's easy. We can make that happen.
Hey, I'll be coming out to Arizona then.
Adam lives out in Southern California, though.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we'll have to meet on
California.
We'll meet on your grounds.
So him and Drake were the ones that were making fun of me for going out and just being such a shitty RC car driver when I was like peeling out and stuff. They were like, "What the heck is this dude doing?" And I was just having a good time. Like I didn't care. I was like this old dude acting like a little kid, just having fun, and they were just making fun of me because I wasn't all pro. So it was awesome.
So you know what you're doing with the cars is going to pay off too, because the chassis dynamics, you get to do things on the scale side that you don't necessarily get to do with because the human factor, right? Your arms are only so strong or whatever, but you're learning all that stuff that's on the super high end of both scales there,
right?
And it's going to translate so much as you're figuring out these, a new chassis, whatever you get into. That's pretty cool. You're building a pretty good base here.
Dude, when I started racing motocross,
absolutely.
I would ask him all kinds of questions about like different RC car setups and stuff like that because I wanted to translate it into my WAG-Z.
Yeah, Yeah, I told you, you learn so much from RC cars, from roll center, toe in, toe out, camber, diff fluids. You just learn so much on how to make cars work. And yeah, you can totally apply that in the YXZ or even your daily driver car. So yeah, my Miata I'm racing, you can apply that. Any form of racing, you can apply RC.
Totally.
So yeah, it's great.
That's awesome. Like, he keeps brushing, like, just barely even touching the surface on all these things that he knows. Like,
it's pretty awesome.
I don't think he gets that. His brain is already filled with all this awesome knowledge, dude. Like, that is so cool to hear that. You'd be surprised, Chris. Like, you have a lot more knowledge than most kids your age, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I love racing. It's my biggest passion in life. So I've been working really hard with it for a long time.
It sounds like you're like a sponge, too, just making sure you remember everything, huh?
Yeah, I love learning new stuff. Always down to learn. That's why I always work on my stuff, to learn and improve on myself.
Yep.
What's the future goals then? So you started racing the Spec Miata class. Have you done any races and done well at them yet?
So yeah, I haven't got to race yet. I still have to get my comp license. That's a thing in asphalt we did not know about. So we just were up testing in Arizona, or no, it was California. Yeah, it was, what track was it? Chuckwalla. Yeah, we're at Chuckwalla. Don't know why I didn't remember that. But it's like right on the border between California and Arizona. And we're up there. There's around 28 cars. I couldn't race, but I was just doing times, getting my all comp school stuff all done. And I would have qualified third place out of 28 cars. And this is my first time on the track, third time in the car. So I would have qualified third, and I was only like a few hundredths off. Like, it was really close. And the tracks are huge, like 2.5 miles long. So that's not much to shave off at all.
How did you
feel?
We
didn't do any car setup or anything.
How did you feel?
I felt good. It feels great. Definitely, like I said, being able to adapt. I was like, okay, yeah. I'm gonna be a competitor this year. And I don't know if she's listening. She might be. She follows me on Instagram. Hannah, I'm coming for you. I'm going to get that Team Austin challenge. I'm going to get it. So
nice.
Don't worry. But yeah, after this, I'm going to race MX5 Cup, the Global MX5 Cup, as that's where a lot of the indie teams look. Because I'm going to try to get on a team. That's my next big goal, is getting on a team for racing. So whether it be Porsche or Ferrari or Lamborghini or Mercedes, just any team, that's my next goal.
You should call Chad Reed over there and get on his team.
Yeah. Hey, I'd be down a little moto. That'd be awesome.
That's cool, man. I like hearing those goals. So the milestones are nice too, because he has all the little milestones that he's going to get up to. And I always tell kids this when they whenever we talk to them is, you're already doing it, so it's not that big of a deal. But you learn to eat the elephant one bite at a time. And when I say that, like, you can't just all of a sudden become a champion. Casey and I were actually talking about something very similar about it. We're going to do an off-road event across the country, and we're all going to ride dirt bikes, and we're going to go from Oregon to South Carolina. It's about 5,000 miles, and it's going to be a pretty fun ride. But to do that, we have to have all the milestones. We have to have little goals. We have to eat the elephant one bite at a time, and you're doing the same thing with your racing career as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah, totally. I want to do that ride with you guys, so I'll have to try to do it. That'll be a lot of fun.
Are you going to do it on your mini bike?
The PW.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down.
Dude,
so.
Can you imagine how lofty of a goal that would be to do the ride across the country on a PW50?
Oh my gosh.
Dude. No, I'll do it on my 110L. First kid to ride across the country on a 110.
There you
know
go.
how sick that would be.
Dude, you get the Guinness Book of World Records.
You can stop every 5 miles for gas.
The Book of World Records.
Well, actually, it might be cheater, though. You might have to get rid of the L and just get a regular 110, because the L's cheater because it has a clutch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have the 110 because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5", so that's a problem. Yeah, I'll just pick up a 110, a beater 110, just a crappy one. I'll fix it myself and then go run it.
I'm sure you guys can engineer some way to get it across the country.
Yeah. Run a Camelback for like extra fuel supply.
Exactly.
Run the fuel for.
Did you ever race a Super Mini class?
Yeah, I raced Super Mini. Yeah, that's when I stopped. Yeah.
That was one of my funnest classes.
That was when I was on Kawasaki. I was on a Kawasaki then.
I love that class.
Super Mini.
That was like one of my funnest classes.
Yeah, Super Mini was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of power.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, I always raced a stock 80 because I didn't have enough money to have like a Super Mini. I had one for like a little bit, but I never really got to race it. So I raced a stock RM80 in the Super Mini class and still did good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you see tons of guys low budget, and they go out there on a stock 85 and just kick everyone's ass. So it's pretty cool to see that. I mean,
did they let
just a
you
lot of
race the
talent
upper
involved.
classes? Like when I was racing, we would go we'd take just the Suzuki 80 and we would race the 80 expert class. We'd race the 125 intermediate class, and then we would race like the 250 intermediate class, and we could walk away with a whole bunch more money.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, so I was at it's called was it Paris, Mom? The track that I used to race my 50 with like the 85 kids.
Nice.
'Cause, I was friends with a lot of the older guys, and I'd be able to keep up with them. So like, oh yeah, let's go run with you guys for fun. They're just like a little fun race. So yeah, they still do that too. I guess today. I mean, at races for like little local series. I know for sure if you're running a 65 and you want to run with 250s, you can totally still do that if you want to.
Dang, that's super cool. You know the kids are like super fast when they do that too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we got a couple last questions for you. Which ones? Now, obviously, you've always wanted to race cars, but just right now, at this time in your life, without thinking about your other goals, what's the most funnest race you've been in, on a dirt bike or on a car?
Oh man, that's a tough one actually. I've been in a lot of fun races, and every race I enjoy racing, so it's a tough one. I'd have to say dirt bike race actually, in particular, Mammoth Nationals.
Dude, that track was so fun.
Gnarly.
Yeah, so I won that. I think I have the Mammoth trophy behind me. Oh yeah, I do. It's over there on this side.
Oh yeah, the bear. I see it.
So when I raced that race, Troy McNish Payton was there, so I got to meet all of them. That was a super cool experience, and everyone from Troy Lee Designs, who I was sponsored by, was also there. So it was if anyone races motocross, I guarantee they've heard of Mammoth, and it's just the coolest race. It is literally the coolest race. It's like the Crandon of off-road cars.
Never did. Never got to.
It really is. Like, I got to go there 1 year, and it was when I just turned pro. Like, I had been like 2 weeks pro, and I whole shot Christian Craig's dad because he was like the baddest dude at the time.
Mike Craig.
Mike Craig. I whole shot his dad on a 125. I whole shot the 125 pro class, and I was leading for the first lap. And since I was so low budget, my bike just got smoked, and I just got to pull off the track.
Yeah, there's no air up there.
So my claim to Mammoth fame was that I whole shot all the pro dudes. So that's it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful on Mammoth. The jetting, because the high elevation, it'll screw with your bike a little bit. We struggled with that while we're still learning it all.
And those guys, they come like prepared when they go there too.
Special
like,
motors because
they're
there's
all
no air.
All crispy and all nice, and mine's all bogging.
Yep.
Like
you're like, mine works good at sea level.
Yeah.
That's rad though. You better treasure that bear, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's we have tons of second place ones. We just get those little tiny ones, so it's like, dang it. So we finally snagged one, and that was 65s. Yeah, there's either 65s or super mini. That's 65s, yeah.
That's awesome. Super cool, man. Congratulations for doing all that stuff. He's had a pretty illustrious little career that he's got going, man.
It's like a little micro career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a successful little micro career. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a good question for you then. You can answer it for me and also answer it for like people listening, like little kids and stuff. How does having all those titles and stuff translate into the sponsorship stuff that you have to do now when you try to go out and get a new sponsor?
It definitely helps. It shows a lot of motivation. Mm-hmm. But even if you don't have titles, sponsors are definitely open to helping people achieve their dreams. But personally, since I've worked so hard at getting titles in a bunch of different things, I guess the biggest thing it shows sponsors is my ability to adapt and just kind of overcome problems when getting into a new class. So especially since I'm starting to mature, we're hoping a team is going to see that soon, that I have titles in motocross, I have titles in short course, I have title in shifter kart now. So hopefully they'll see, okay, this kid's got a diverse background. He's a kid where I want to have on our team. So it's definitely helped me get sponsors like Kicker Audio. And from having all that experience, I actually ran a training school for kids. And all my sponsors loved that. So we actually ended up getting sponsored.
Idea. Sounds awesome.
We ended up getting sponsored by BFG. just for doing the training schools. So yeah, and like you were saying, the training schools were awesome because it's a kid teaching other kids. So I just love helping out. So it was definitely it was a lot of fun. And we're still doing it. So pretty much every off season we have mod cart camps and junior 2 camps, so we can help kids.
Would you mind, like next time you're going to do a camp, would you mind sharing it with us, and we can share it on the Dirt Life stuff? Because we would love to help with that promotion. That to me right there is, and I don't mean this as a discount because your racing career is fabulous and we want to keep seeing you, but that is more important in my opinion of the overall global thing that you're helping people with. Like, it's going to make so many people's lives change because you're shaking their hand and you're showing them to do something. That is so cool, man.
Yep.
Yeah, and the coolest thing is seeing people go from, like, I'm not trying to call anyone out here, they go from the back or mid-pack to winning it. So, like, you probably know Jaden Uribe or John Holcher. They were both my students. Jaden just won his first race. Big shout out to him. That's so rad.
Good job,
he just won his first race in Arizona. John Holcher, he's killing it. He's won so much now. Doodle Hernandez, a girl, killed it in junior 2, now killing it in mod cart. So it's just really rewarding seeing the kids start from the back, work all the way up after just getting lessons. So it's a great feeling because I know the struggle. I didn't come from cars, so we needed help that we didn't have. So I'm just glad to be there for those kids that are struggling and need help.
Awesome. Super cool, man. Yeah, and that's what they did. Like, I keep making fun of them or tell them they make fun of me when I was in the RC stuff. But truthfully, him and Adam Drake like helped me so much. Like, I went from being a total squid on the track, and then all of a sudden, like, I was a pretty good, like, you know, at least mid-pack driver. Like, I wasn't ever fast or anything, but it was really cool for them to help me out, and it meant a lot to me that they would take their time away and now and help and like really develop my skill set, because they didn't have any help when they first started, and then they gave the help to me. It really means a lot, and you see it like in the person. Like, it's so many people are going to respect you for doing that, dude, so keep doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, and the best thing is now that we're in the Miata and we went out there and we weren't racing obviously, and Chuck Wallace, a track we aren't going to race at again this season. I made a bunch of new friends there, people from Utah, all over. And I was just sharing my data with them. So we had older guys, like I think they're like 50 years old. And I was like 5 seconds faster. I'm like, come over here. Let's look at my Ames Smarty Cam footage. I'll help you out. You can pull my data. We can overlay. So now I'm even helping out older guys get faster.
I'm glad he said 50.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said 50.
Young.
Some older guys are like 30.
That's cool, man. I was always the same in short course too. Like, everybody'd be like, "No, I'm not sharing shit with you, dude," and I'd be like, "Oh crap, well that sucks for me." And then so whenever anybody asked me a question, I was an open book. I said, "Whatever you guys want to know, I will tell you. I'm not an expert, but I'll give you all the info I have."
Yeah, not dogging on the short course guys, but there's a lot more secrets being held in the asphalt scene.
Oh, really?
Everyone in
absolutely.
Is very, like, I'm going to use shifter carts as an example. Musgrave race team. When I raced Streets of Lancaster, it's national. You have about 20 carts under their semi-tent. Everyone, no matter what, no matter if you guys qualified first and second and are competing, you guys look at each other's data to just improve as drivers, because obviously we're all trying to advance in racing no matter what we're doing. And it's just going to make us better in the end of the day by seeing where we're both doing better than each other.
Right. Yeah.
So, in asphalt, you see a lot of that. A lot of drivers helping other drivers. Even if you're competing in literally the same exact times, you can still see where someone else is faster on the track. So you can both advance and get better, because that's what we're doing. We're just out here learning right now.
I love that mentality. I wish more people would do that. It'd be so nice.
Yeah, same here. So hopefully there's a lot of short course guys listening. We need a short course team of guys, so that way y'all can help each other out.
Open up.
Advance.
Yeah, I think in the dirt stuff, it's like if they're telling you their setup, it's not what it is.
Yeah.
They want you to put it on wrong, right? They want you to put exactly what they told you, because they know it doesn't work.
I hate that, man.
It does.
It's just like, I always thought the same thing. I was like, I don't care if I get third or fifth or whatever. As long as we're battling, I'm having a good time.
Yep, I was talking to my brother-in-law and his dad this weekend around the campfire, and they grew up doing similar things, but all in the dirt. So carts, and then to the big cars and
circle track stuff. Yeah,
circle track stuff, and a lot of the, to the higher levels. And it definitely confirmed my suspicions in what I've always felt about that. And they're wheeling it, and they don't care. They'll help anybody out. But on the other side of the fence, like here you are helping, there's for every one of you, there's probably
10 people that don't say nothing.
That would keep it quiet, and then a bigger group that would tell you the wrong thing. So that's awesome that you can show up in a new genre and be like, hey, we're not doing this yet, but here's what we're doing. And they're like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's going to go pretty far,
Yeah,
I think.
a lot of guys really enjoyed that.
I'll bet.
Super stoked. Hopefully some of you guys are listening out there. I think there might be a few of you guys.
Whatever the guy tells Chris, though, Chris is going to, like, reverse engineer it and know if it's wrong anyways, or he's going to be like, hey, Dad, is this right? And he's going to be like, no, they're giving you a bunch of shit, son. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing all that.
When you guys come out here and drive our C-cars, we'll have to go to the go-kart track also, because I don't know if you guys have driven shifter carts.
I have.
But they are gnarly. They are crazy. So I have a few of them. So I actually have three shifters. So we have one for each of us. That would make a fun video, and I'm sure all the viewers would like to see that.
Actually, that would be pretty cool. We'll
do a little race.
And you're what, 6'4", 5"?
Yeah, so we'll fit perfect.
I'm 6'5",
so we'll fit.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you guys will fit. I promise you'll fit.
So that's cool, man. Yeah, every time we go, like, and my handicap ass, like, I don't ever, like, fit in the cars very good, but every time we go to the go-kart tracks around here, just like the normal ones that you pay $20 to go drive or whatever, we can get, like, the top 3 of the week just by, like, off the couch going in there. And so it's fun that we can actually do that. So I would love to get in a shifter cart with you.
So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Just let me know when. I mean, we got extra room at the house, so you guys can come down here with our C-track and kart track. I mean, I'm down. So let me know.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Remember, though, we're old. We're the old guys. We got to work still, too. So that's why I'm coming to California to work.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. That's fun. I think you guys are sick. I think you're sick.
We'll go out there. What? You're not going to think I'm sick if I beat you.
Yeah, no, that's true. They'll be like, they'll see at work, they'll see your YouTube video of like, what the heck? You ain't sick.
That's funny. I vlog it, and I just like totally change all the video clips of me winning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're sick.
You'd like film his fast lap and show his fast lap, and then put on my face.
Right.
Dude,
oh, it's so funny.
That's so cool, man. I really appreciate you taking the time and especially with school and all that stuff that you have going on, and taking the time with us to stay up late and have a little chit chat with us. Garage Talk.
Yeah, no, just thank you for having me the opportunity to talk with you guys. I respect both of you guys a ton, and I know we all have super similar backgrounds, so I was like, you know what? I think it'd be good for us to talk, and definitely is really cool. It's just more lifelong friends for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and your family have already gained my respect. Absolutely. Just I can already tell it's a good upbringing, and you're a hard worker, and I mean, you're going to go places. There's no doubt in my mind.
Thank you.
Yep.
I haven't got to meet you in person yet. But I've already met George. So next time I'll come up there. If you guys are down here, we will meet for sure. So
absolutely.
Be fun.
Sounds good. Well, we got a couple more questions, but before I get to the last few questions, who are some of the sponsors that you want to thank that are joining your program this year?
Yeah, so Get HID Lights from Arizona. Actually, you might know him. Brian, super cool dude. He has the raddest light setups. I'm going to leak a little secret here. Jarrett Brooks, he won't be happy with me. He's a rigid guy. Guess what? He had Get HID do his lights on his truck. So he's the real deal, Get HID. So, and, of course, Kicker Audio.
Makai actually bought my old YXZ. That's the one she raced.
Oh, heck yeah. Yep. So, Get HID family. But, of course, Kicker Audio, super cool company. Maxima Racing Oils, Action Sports Canopies, Sparco Race Gear, Simpson Race Gear, all of them, super cool guys. And, NASA Racing Series, super cool racing series. Team Mazda Challenge with NASA, also super cool. And, of course, Mazda race cars.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad to see that you already have support for going into your new venture, and a lot of that has to translate from all of the good
and Ames. Didn't mean to cut you off, but Ames is important too.
And you forgot one too. You forgot one that I know about.
Mom and Dad.
Well, of course, but no. Techno.
Oh, Techno RC, yeah,
Of
Techno
course.
RC.
Come on, we can't leave the
There we
RC
go.
guys out.
Yeah, why you gotta leave?
Usually when I'm on the podium, my mom and dad are over there with the T-shirt, so I'm just reading it. But no one has my shirt on right now, so it's all right. It's all right.
Right on, man. Well,
That's
I'm glad that you
a good
guys.
idea.
I was gonna say I'm glad that you have all that support because that means that you've carried over. A lot of people would just bail to be like, oh, he's racing street cars. Who cares? You know, like or road course. But he's obviously done a good job with his partners in the past to be able to keep them into his new venture. So that's super cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure
every single sponsor carried over. Every single one, except BFG, they wanted to carry over, but we're on a spec tire that's Toyo, also a great tire. So we have to run them. So BFG, that's going to be a future partnership again for sure.
I feel like they should have did it like not necessarily a spec tire, but just do a different spec in the Lucas Short Course UTV class.
Mm-hmm.
I hated how you could have different tires that nobody in the public is ever going to buy.
The tire game is the worst game.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I was just telling my dad, like we washed his Razor yesterday because we were going to go to the dunes, and I looked at his car and I go, he's got tires from my. You can't even buy those cars. The general public can't buy those tires. And they come off my race car. Like, so even us,
Right.
like getting our tires in the UTV class, the general public can't even buy them. So it's like, in my mind, I'm like, why don't they just give us like the same thing that everybody can buy?
You know, to the manufacturer's credit though, and the industry's credit, they do have to develop stuff, and it's on the racing scene. But it just the way it happens sometimes, it's tough because if you're the guy out there that doesn't have the that support, you're just like, man, I'm out here doing the best I can, and
But it wasn't even fair. Our tires were so much better.
That's
it wasn't
what I'm
even
saying.
fair.
That's what I'm saying. Is like,
Yeah,
they look
and you
the
guys-
same, but they're not even close.
Right.
You guys are honestly product testing, I guarantee it. So whatever tire company you're sponsored by, they're using you for product development right now.
Oh,
Guarantee
absolutely.
it. So
Absolutely.
the tires you're running are going to be released a year or two from now for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they would do that, and I would agree with it. But I also think there's a time and place. Like we could have tested it somewhere else, but I mean we're
Right.
testing on like it. To me, it was just like I like what he's saying about the spec tire
Me
stuff.
too. Agreed.
Because I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
everybody bitches about like, oh, the Pro 4s they got to use or they don't use a DOT tire, and Pro 2s have used a DOT tire. Like for me, the DOT was a really good deal. Like I think that's super cool.
Right.
Because then there's not a huge advantage, like it's
Right.
evening out the field. So
Right.
all right, well let's just get past that. So we kind of already heard this from you, but what does the future hold for you? What do you want to do this year and the next couple of years?
So my goal for this season is to win the Team Mazda Challenge. It's a little for teenagers from whenever you're a teen, 13 to 20. It's you win like a cash purse of $20,000, and it helps you progress into Global MX5 Cup too. So that's going to be my goal because I want to go to Global MX5 Cup now to get seen by a team. So my goal this season is to win the Nationals with NASA in the Spec Miata class, and also win the Team Mazda Challenge so I can keep progressing with the MX5 series.
Those are some pretty cool goals. I like how he's got it all planned out.
It's awesome.
And then,
Love
so
it.
how can people follow along with you? Is it just that Instagram, Chris2Nunes?
Yeah, so the best way to follow me is just through Instagram, like you said. Yeah, at Chris, and then the number 2, and then Nunes, Nunes. That's the best way to get in touch with me, follow me, everything, yeah.
Right on, man. Well, yeah, so for all our audience listeners, you can also go and check out some of the posts that the Dirt Life Show did on Instagram as well. He's on there, and you can link straight to his profile from us. All right, dude, so the most important questions of the evening. I didn't send these to you. This is our rapid-fire Q&A.
Uh-oh.
All right, Case, go ahead and kick it off.
Roxon or Tomac?
Oh, wait. What were the names? I didn't hear you.
Roxon or Tomac?
Yeah. Roxon.
All right, second one. What's your favorite food?
Sushi.
Oh, seriously, that's a good one. All
All right,
right.
that's a good one. iPhone or Android? I think I know.
Didn't even think about that.
I think I know the answer to this one. iPhone or Android?
Oh, iPhone. Yeah, we're on FaceTime right now.
Yeah.
We're on FaceTime.
I was actually going to say Android because it's like, you can do so much more things with it. I figured you'd already nerded out on that, but good. I like it better.
No, I'm not really a hacker or anything.
Okay,
so
good.
I don't need that.
Good.
There might be a reason that I added it because I like, you know how if you go into a he doesn't know, if you go into a bar and they got like certain songs on, you can profile the people that played the jukebox.
Oh, it's totally. Yeah.
So this question is to profile people for me, just because I love technology and I love Apple products. All right, favorite soda.
Yeah. Favorite soda? I don't drink soda, so water.
Sweet. All right.
Most memorable race. We kind of did that.
All right, so let's skip that one. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Favorite cotton candy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Dang. M&M's or Skittles?
Ooh, Skittles.
You're going Skittles, huh?
Rainbow.
All right, how about dogs or cats?
Dogs for sure.
Yeah, same.
Burrito or taco? He's in San Diego.
Tacos.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, yeah, but Shorter picked burritos.
He did, and he's down there too.
He's all about those California burritos, dude. All right, if you were in the movie Hangover, what character would you be?
Not a very big movie guy, so I've never seen The Hangover.
Oh, you haven't?
Good. You're not missing out.
The guy without the hangover, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a hangover. That would suck.
Exactly.
All right, go for it.
What other form of racing would you like to try? We kind of did that too.
Okay, you can ask him the last question then.
Chips or guacamole or fries and ketchup?
Chips and guacamole.
Dude, there's only been one person that's answered fries and ketchup. And
Yep.
We're not going to ever talk to him again. Just saying. All right. Well, thanks so much, dude. I really appreciate it. And who do you want to win this next weekend? Are you going for Roxon, or are you actually going to go for somebody else?
Oh, man. Probably Roxon. I'll say Roxon.
All right, if you're going for Roxon, I kind of feeling Cooper Webb lately, dude. He's kind of turned me around a little bit.
Webb is on his A game.
It's coming.
Webb's moving.
It's coming.
And
yep.
Casey's guy is Cincerillo, so he's already got that on lockdown.
Yeah.
He's got it coming too. He's not gonna.
Yeah, Cincerillo's dude.
Never mind. He's awesome, but yeah, it's coming. I know it is.
Do you guys get to watch Supercross together with some of your buddies or no?
And for the Petco Park one, it was just me and my mom that watched. My dad was at work, so we didn't really have a party or anything, but we used to. So we have a movie room with a big projector, so maybe I'll have to do that.
Nice. Or just texting your buddies like, yeah, I got you. That's what Casey and I always do, sit on the couch and text each other. So, all right, bud. Well,
I'll have to do that.
I'm guessing he was doing homework. Not homework, schoolwork, homework, race homework when you watched it.
Yep.
It was probably more important to watch it, I'll bet. That's my guess.
Being like, I would have took that line. I would have took this line. This line's faster.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on, and thank your parents for letting you get away from your homework and staying up so late with us. We really appreciate it. You did a great job, man. You were a great interview, and we really, really think that you're going to have some serious success in the future, dude.
Absolutely.
Keep up all the hard work.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, and we'll keep in touch, both of you guys. So you guys are coming to San Diego.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me on air with you guys, and just glad to cross-promote. Sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man. Well, when I come to California, I think we're going to do a show with Jesse Nelson up in Temecula, so you guys can come up there if we don't end up seeing you at the RC track. So.
Yeah, I'm friends with Nelson and his wife. She's a substitute teacher, so she knows me too.
Oh, perfect. All right, bud. Well, thank you very much, and thank your parents for letting you come on, dude. We really appreciate it. Keep kicking ass.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, you guys.
Great, buddy.
And everyone watching. See you guys.
Later. Well, thanks very much to Chris, dude.
The energy is just.
Well, how energetic were we when we were 17? Same? I don't know, man.
I don't think I was.
I think I was a little bit more mellow too.
Yeah, in a good way, it's a compliment. It's like infectious. Like he's pumped.
Dude, when I saw him at the racetrack,
awesome.
I wanted to go race. Like I wasn't even there to race, and he got me so pumped up. I wanted to go race right then. I was like, does anybody have an extra car I can
That's
borrow?
what I mean. I would imagine on the track with him, no matter what, you just are pumped.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Dude, I was racing. That's awesome.
So he said, he has fun with all his buddies and gets to go cruise around. Like, that's so cool, man. Well, I think, like you said, he's got a really, really strong career ahead of him. I think he's going to do very well.
So many things could go. You know what I mean? It could go in so many awesome directions.
One of the things that I gathered from that conversation with him, and this is kind of being on the other side of the fence from a racer and understanding the way that companies deal with racers and stuff. Mm-hmm. When you sit down, like let's just say you get a call from him and he wants to wear your helmet. And you're like, okay, he's just another 17-year-old kid, whatever. And he gets to come have a meeting with you. Well, right when you have the meeting, you know, like instantly, he's very smart. He's very calculated.
Yep.
He's clearly a good driver. Why wouldn't we want? And he's infectious. Like he's so energetic. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a part of his team? So,
right.
I think a lot of other children or kids could learn from something like that and be able to understand it.
So cool that he's doing those camps, like
Yeah.
already giving back. Like how we talk about this all the time. It's
Yep.
it's about the dirt life, absolutely, but it's also about helping people and getting through struggles. And
100%.
so cool, man. Super pumped.
Yeah. I'm excited that to see how he does in the future. I'm excited to go RC car racing with him too.
Yeah.
I need to get out there and drive that freaking thing. All right. Well, so we'll wind down the show a little bit now. So thank you, Casey, for getting our next guest lined up. We have Steve Westfall. You want to introduce him? Who's coming up next?
Yeah, Steve Westfall. I think technically he's the chief mechanic or crew chief of the Husqvarna Rockstar Husqvarna team.
Yep.
And
full moto, dude.
He's full moto. He's an awesome guy. Another RC guy. It's so crazy how our paths cross, but
Worlds collide.
it's so cool. But yeah, he's an awesome dude. He's a family guy, and his kids do BMX. His wife's super nice. It's gonna be good. It'll be good to hear his inside. You know, we keep talking about prep work and all this stuff, and now he manages that. But he's been the guy, the boots on the ground, turning the wrenches and coming up with solutions. I can't wait. I think it's going to be cool. So I hope you guys have some questions stored up that you'd like to ask.
Yeah, that's actually good. We should post something like that on social media this week. When we post it, give me some questions that we should, or give me some things that we'll ask people if they want to ask questions too.
That'd be great.
All right, so we have Steve Westfall next week. I'm really excited to talk to him just because I love motocross so much. So it's going to be cool to talk with him. We want to thank our sponsors, obviously. Thank everybody for watching. We really, really appreciate everyone. Please keep hitting us up on social media. Please keep sending us messages, comments, just interacting as much as possible. We really, really love all the interaction, and we want to see the show keep growing and growing and growing. Share the crap out of it on social media, too. Share it with all your buddies if they like it. We're going to have more giveaways coming up. So thank you very much to Zollinger Racing Products for doing their last giveaway. Use the code DIRTLIFE and have save some money over there and have some good products on your car. Thank you very much to the guys at Shock Therapy. We have some really fun stuff coming up with them. So thank you very much to them. Thanks for hooking up one of our audience members, Alfonso Jimenez. He is so stoked with his car. Use the code DIRTLIFE for any Shock Therapy stuff. Those guys are just awesome over there. And thank you very much to Lance of Solderwell. We saw he commented. Thanks for jumping on, Lance. Utah does rock. I love it up there, too. We really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for making the show what it is. And we will catch you guys next week with Steve Westfall. Thanks, Case.
Can't wait.
See you guys.
Five.
See you guys. Yeah.
Leave me hanging.
See you guys later. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.